Well, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Got a great broadcast lineup for you. You know what it is today. You know what this is. This is Wednesday, so this is Way Out Wednesday. Ain't no telling. Ain't no telling what you gonna get. Ain't look at here. I'm gonna tell y'all strap your seatbelt on, strap it on real tight, because ain't no telling what you gonna get today. Ain't no telling, but the phone lines are open. 678-381-1973. 678-381-1973. Now, we're gonna start this thing off with a bang. Good morning, Leonard. How you doing? Before we start off with a bang, good morning, Leonard. How you doing this morning, sir?
Good morning, Morning Glow family. Raheem, what's going on today?
Hey, doing good, doing good. Brother, we're gonna start it off with Captain Leonard this morning. And Leonard, I want to hear what's on your heart, brother. This is Way Out Wednesday. Let's talk about it. What's on your heart, brother?
It's good to see people finally taking things serious and showing
Mhm.
up at these polls for early voting.
Yes, sir. Yes,
It's
sir.
massive turnouts, broke all records in the state of Georgia for
Mm-hmm.
voter turnout, and we just hope people hanging in there, letting everybody else know it ain't no joke. If
Yeah.
we could just get the right person in Secretary of State's office, trust me, it'll go a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason why we have problems doing many of the things that we have right now is because of people in the way
Mm-hmm.
resisting
Mm-hmm.
for righteousness. They hate it everywhere they see it. And
Yeah.
these are the people that cause all the kinks in the chain.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, if we could go there, let's go there just for a second. You say if we had the right person in the Secretary of State office, do we have the wrong person there?
Yes. Whenever you have a person that even if the notion in your Secretary of State's mind suppresses anyone's right to vote or makes it hard for anyone else to vote, they're the wrong person.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you know they're the wrong person because they're
Mm-hmm.
trying to keep you from doing the right thing.
Okay.
That's how
Now,
you know.
now let me ask you this. The election that we had a couple of maybe a year or so ago with Abrams and how she was disrespected and not given her rightful position. Did that have anything to do with it?
It has a lot to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
But see, it's now, and we're not even going to talk about giving the rightful position. No, had
She
you
earned
turned out in the majority of numbers that is necessary to overwhelm a vote,
it. Mm-hmm.
beyond the shadow of a doubt, you help. It's easier to correct the issues. Had you put that right person in office, these issues would be resolved
Mm-hmm.
because you would have a person working for the benefit of all citizens in the state of Georgia,
And
whose
I
main concern is that
come on.
everyone is registered and exercises their right to vote.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone against that is the enemy.
Mm-hmm. Come on.
I mean, that's just the way it is.
That's
Anyone that wants to, for any reason whatsoever, hinder your right to vote is on
mm-hmm.
the other side. They're the
Yeah.
enemy.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. That's good.
The reason why you got long lines and everything now is because access to the polls. They talk about, Republicans will pretend as if, or conservatives will pretend as if they really wanted the things to be on time, on point, ready to go. But they spent years,
Mm-hmm.
first of all, trying to destroy the sections of the Voting Rights Amendment that pertains to fair elections. They tried to destroy that the entire time they've been in control of office. They shut down polling locations to make it harder for people in rural areas to go vote. They've changed polling locations in some issues to try to disorient voters. But man, thank y'all for being up on the game and showing out
Mm-hmm.
for this early voting.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
just early voting. You've never seen numbers like this in early voting.
And see, and that's the thing right there. They were not prepared, man. They didn't think it was gonna come out like we're coming out.
Exactly.
They didn't think so, man. And now that we are, they're trying. I'm gonna tell you something. They're gonna try to move the goalposts. They're gonna try to move the goalposts, man. They're gonna
And
try
we
to. They're gonna try to figure out some kind of way to move the goalposts, or the end zone, if you will.
I must say it really doesn't matter because our job is to go and vote. It's to find out where we need to vote and be there and be in line.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's all it takes. Just find
Mm-hmm.
out where you need to be and be in line. Go right online, check your voter registration status. It'll tell you where your precinct is at and be there. That's your job.
Leonard, you've been here in Georgia for a while. Um, Help me understand something, man, because I've heard stories about it. I heard people say something about it. I don't know a lot. But I looked at on the news in the morning. I look at the news and they show the lines, the early lines and stuff like that. And I looked at a lot of the counties, and a lot of the counties was very mixed.
Mhm.
But Forsyth County, there was more others, and they showed the line, and didn't see a lot of us over there, man. Is there a lot of black folks in Forsyth County?
Not that I know of. I don't. It's not known for having huge African American population or diverse population. That's why a lot of them flee there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I know I looked at the line, and I look for certain things. I look for
Hmm.
certain things. And as I was looking, I was like, man, I don't see name. They showed the whole line, and it was a lot of them there.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
most definitely.
and I was like, man, where
Because
did
they're exercising their right to vote to well as
yeah,
well.
yeah,
And
yeah,
it's getting to that point where people who are out here struggling, trying to do their best they can, they just want what is right. They just want to
mm-hmm,
do the right thing. They
mm-hmm,
see what is going on as well.
mm-hmm,
I think there has been a growing intolerance within white community as well
mm-hmm,
for the foolishness. White people don't like to see corruption as much as any of one of us. It's
mm-hmm.
not about it's about people who are dedicated to the cause of disruption.
Yeah, yeah,
People who are dedicated to being to discriminating against you in certain positions that they hold in everyday life. These are the people we have to be aware of. Those people who want those positions are in those positions for a reason.
Do you think days like today, where we're going out and we're voting in tremendous numbers, do you think they are afraid right now that they're going to lose those positions?
They should be because they see what's going on. They haven't seen this type of turnout either. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to understand when they see it, even if they're not voting for who you want to vote for, everybody's going to come out and vote.
Yeah.
Voters are going to come out and vote.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to remember they're going. It'd be great to look at the numbers after the fact as well to see what actually happened.
Mm-hmm.
But when we just look, we see it. Folks who have worked polls for years will tell you, man, we ain't never seen nothing like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been at voter registration locations with signs holding them up all day long, and you don't see some the turnout that you wish you would see.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But when you see people in line like this, you know they turned out.
Now, do you think a lot of our young folks gonna turn out this time, man?
I think they will. I think they understand the gravity of it, especially if you're around if you're like right around that 30 age,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
man, this is your time.
We need it, man. We
This
need it.
is your
We need it.
time.
Yeah.
You under 30, you see what's wrong, you've been playing around, you've been enjoying yourself. You just come out of your 20s.
Mm-hmm.
You probably just got your degree, got you some debt. You probably got a kid by now.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking for that first job. You're trying to pick a city to live in.
Mm-hmm.
Those we making real decisions that depend on a responsible government.
Yeah. Yeah. Making
And
life
so that's what you
decisions.
need.
Yeah. You
And
make
it's we have to make sure our young people understand that voting is like a number one priority of being an American citizen.
mm-hmm.
Being a citizen, people have lost what it means to be a citizen
Mm-hmm.
of
And
a particular place.
why do you think that is? Why do you think they've lost that sense of it?
Oh, because we have great recreation.
Mm.
We have great recreation, great things to distract us.
Mm-hmm.
And so, if you don't have a lot of responsibilities or things, or you may not have really gotten out into life and attempted doing things that you have to interact with government yourself now. Your mother and your parents are not doing it for you anymore.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, for a lot of the kids, their first taste of government is student aid, financial aid, and going to college.
Yeah.
And then you start seeing how things work together, how they're supposed to work together, for the first time
Mm-hmm.
with diverse groups of people a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
So you start saying, hey, if I'm going to ever do this or ever do that, or then you have to think of it. Do I want to get involved in it? Do I
Mm-hmm.
want to be a politician? We have to reinforce that in our children, the importance of being in charge of something and not letting everyone else be in charge.
And just for the record, let's ask the question: would you ever run, brother?
Yeah, I probably would.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Well,
I don't normally live. Like I say, I don't live in the city.
mm-hmm.
I live in rural areas,
Mm-hmm.
so you know, I like quieter area. But I've lived in big cities and things like that before. But I could definitely see me being in public office in the near future.
When you say near future, are you about to break some breaking news? Or we
Well,
about to
you know,
break news?
the news won't be breaking. It's an effort, but the news won't be breaking.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I really just love supporting people
Mm-hmm.
and things like that, and getting them involved and mobilizing people. And
Mm-hmm.
I can honestly tell you, the whole coronavirus thing kind of put a lot of brakes on it
Yeah.
for me with other issues, but definitely
So,
looking to get back out there.
so it was basically what I'm hearing you say is it was in motion until this corona thing came. It was actually in motion.
Yeah,
Okay. That's
yeah.
good. That's good. Because one of the things about it, man, we need people that's not afraid to speak up and stand up.
And you know, I always tell people I work with a wide group of people,
Mm-hmm.
and we just have to get the notion of helping one another and plug in the pieces. You
Mm-hmm.
have to allow people that want to be in government to be there. That's what they specialize in.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they go to school for, a lot of them. Like, say, for instance, I have degrees in policy and administration.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, you practice government, you study how government works. This whole notion that you just gonna walk in one day and do whatever you want, it has to go. We have to work what's in the best interest of all citizens. That's what's key.
Leonard, do you think a lot of times people don't understand government to the point they think, well, I did my part. I went and I voted. There's work to be done even after you vote, isn't it?
But the work should be done by the people who know how to do the work.
Mm-hmm.
There are people who know exactly how it goes, and this is why they're in government.
Mm-hmm.
There are some people in government right now, they learning as they go. They being mentored by folks as well.
Like OJT.
Yeah. So, you know, there's also programs for young people to get involved. There's always been programs for young people to get involved with the government process if they
Mhm.
want. You could be pages and things like that, interns and all types of things they have available for you to volunteer for public service or
And
intern positions and things like that.
and that's what I was about to ask. That was gonna be my next question. Is it a good idea for young people to intern just so they can learn the insides and the operations?
You you went out, but all the times that we have gone down to interact with government, there's always these positions there and young people working in the various representatives' offices and things of that nature. And that's what they're doing. They're learning how government works. They're exposing themselves to the players in government and those that make the decisions. Very powerful people. You would be surprised the number of young people that are actually down at the Capitol. And these are the people that we have to make sure understand this progressive activist type of democracy that we need. So if you just spend the time to find out what people want, or you know, I challenge some people to, if you've never done it before, make a appointment to see your representative. If you call them, they usually have a team of people that will listen to your concern, respond back to you, and are actually there to represent you. And if you have questions about things, you can call and ask them about questions. They usually have great folks there working in their offices that can refer you to various resources that are made possible by a lot of the programs and policies that your politicians are responsible for delivering to your area and their constituents. Not all individuals, I think, are on top of their game, and not all constituents are holding their elected folks responsible.
Leonard, you held it down for me, didn't
Of course. So, you know, and it was about, you know, these offices have dedicated staff.
you?
And
Mm-hmm.
if you would, you know, when we say call your local representative, we really mean call your local representative.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if there is a problem that you have, they are entitled to investigate the issue and get back with
Mhm.
you and respond to you. American soldiers, for instance, when they're overseas, when they have problems and they feel like something is going on with the chain of command, guess who they do? What they do? They contact their local congressman to get involved, to file a complaint, to check things out.
Mhm.
So that's what they're there for, and we got to start using them for that purpose and force them to work in that uh, in that position because that's what it's for. It's to
Mhm.
represent you. And the way it works is the more aggressive individuals are, the more laws and things like that are proposing. That's what gets discussed. That's what gets the attention.
Yeah, exactly.
So we have to learn it from that point of view. Um, I'm more entitled to let people know about that stakeholder form in government. That's the
Mhm.
piece that is missing, I think. I'm not going to say it's missing because I haven't been in a high school classroom in a long time. But somewhere in your student government courses, that concept must be taught to you. Citizenship is extremely important in a democracy.
Mhm. Mhm.
Though
That's
that's
good.
one of the key components of a public education that you should be getting is how this government works. I know a lot of you want to talk about what didn't work and racism and everything, but you need to know how it works as well.
Yeah.
You don't need to know all the things that tried to keep it from working or what have you. What you do need to know is when you hit it and you become of age, how do you participate? That's
Mhm.
what you need to focus on.
Mhm. Good deal. 678-381-1973. 678-381-1973. Again, 678-381-1973. This is Way Out Wednesday. Gonna switch the subject just a little bit and let them ask you a question. I'm gonna ask you a question that's gonna spark something in you.
Yeah,
I believe it's gonna spark something in you, brother. You ready?
that's what you believe. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. How many? And I asked my wife this question now, and she almost made me wreck when she answered the question. But I'm gonna see where you gonna go with. But how many brains? How many brains does number 45 have? And the reason why I'm asking that question, how many brains does he have? Because this man is in so many people's heads, got them thinking that he's the best thing since sliced bread. How many
Well, that,
brains? How many brains does he have, man, to be in that many people's head to fool and trick them and to manipulate them into thinking that he's the best thing for this country?
no different than telling a woman that one, you should be in charge of her body and you know what better to do with it than she
Mm,
does.
mm,
No more than that. You just a hoe.
mm,
That's all you is to him. You his, you
mm.
know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's it. That's why I'm from the street. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
When I can teach you, when I can show you how to give up what's important to you and get you to work for me and to give me the bigger portion,
Mm-hmm.
that's what makes you
Mm.
who you are. You know, if I
Wow.
give you throw you a couple dollars, get your nails done, get you a new dress and everything, and blah blah blah, but you're going to do something for me too.
Mm.
And you need to
Manipulation.
understand. You need to understand what I want it's a bigger picture. You don't understand the bigger picture, so let me do
Mm-hmm.
that for you. You don't know how to go get it like I can go get it, but I just need you to
Mm-hmm.
do a little bit for me.
Mm-hmm.
I
Manipulation.
don't.
That's yeah. That's straight up manipulation. And see, that's how the game. So let me ask, even from that standpoint, is he real good at playing the game?
Yeah, yeah, he's great. I mean, he's. I mean, if anything, I can't stand him.
Mm-hmm.
it's not a secret. He
Mm-hmm.
has pulled off the greatest hustle.
Wow.
He's become the
Wow.
president of the United States. He can wield
Mm-hmm.
power. He can do what he wants. He can escape investigations. He can
Mm.
do pretty much whatever he wants, as you can see.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the ultimate hustle right there. So I will give him that 100%. A criminal is a criminal, and he's the best.
Mm-hmm. How do you think it's gonna work out for him in the end? Say if he don't get elected this term, is it gonna work out for him?
He'll crash and burn. I'm looking for crash and burn.
Mm,
I want to see it bottom out.
mm,
It's time for America to celebrate the death of ignorance and destruction and division. We need to start celebrating that instead of having sympathy for that.
But
I'm so sad. I'm never sad
this is
that bad people get what they deserve.
now this is the same guy that sounded the dog whistle,
Exactly.
saying that if for whatever reason, I don't get reelected, heads gonna turn.
Like I say,
I'm
don't.
not gonna leave office, huh?
Who cares what he says?
Mm-hmm.
Who cares what? You just have to let people know. I kick ass too.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
can say what you want. You can threaten me all you want. Bring it.
Mm-hmm.
We killing and stuff ain't new. That ain't new.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not new at all. You
Mm-hmm.
just got to be on the winning side of that killing. That's all.
Exactly. And like we used to say back in the day, man, growing up, we had this little saying we used to say, hit me and can't fight, you're gonna be in a world of trouble.
You know
Hit
what
me
you
and
don't
can't
did.
fight.
Expect me to
Yeah,
come through. You know what you don't done. Expect me to come through.
exactly. Now we got the phone lines are open 678-381-1973, 678-381-1973. Asking the question. We got a lot of things going on today. As a matter of fact, we don't have a topic. Today is Wednesday, so it's what we call Way Out Wednesday. So we don't have a topic. You are our topic. So whatever's on your heart, give us a call. Let's talk about whatever it is that's on your heart. We'll talk about it and talk about it in its entirety today.
It's
Leonard, you
just
said,
a shame, man. It's a shame. In certain times like this, we usually would have a semi-responsible person in
mm-hmm,
office that would try to mitigate what has been going on.
mm-hmm,
But we haven't had that. And I think that's different for the United States.
yeah, it
And
is.
it's very different for the very simple fact that even George Bush cannot support this man.
Mm-hmm,
There is no president alive that supports him.
yeah,
There is no reasonable, responsible individual. This is why he elects all these criminals and he tells them, just get in, we'll get you in. But hey, guess what? You do a little something for me. You got this one
yeah,
woman right now under this confirmation hearing. That's the
mm-hmm,
worst thing in the world. Look, you want to put a Karen on the Supreme Court? Go ahead. She's terrible. She's just like what she's a. Women should look at this and understand now when we say the issue we have with the House Negro.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Because she wants that particular position to do what? To take away a woman's right to choose.
Yeah.
That is
And
what
that's
she
what I
is
was about.
being employed to do. And that's what she
Mm-hmm.
will do. And she will
And
fight tooth and nail to get it done.
that's what I was going to go next. This Roe versus Wade. Explain to a lot of the listeners out there that may not know what that is, Leonard. Explain to them exactly what that is and what they're trying to do in that whole process.
Roe versus Wade is referred to as the case that actually asks the question on whether or not women have the right to make the choice to abort.
Mm-hmm.
And this right has been dangled in front of Americans for so long. People have fought even against agencies created to assist women in making these decisions. For example, Planned Parenthood and things of that nature. And they love to argue about this. Every election, abortion, abortion, abortion. Well, who are the only people that get pregnant?
Women.
Who are
Mm.
the people that give birth?
Women.
So why they don't want women to be a part of making that? Why shouldn't a woman have that right?
Mm-hmm.
Why do people want to take that right? Because the government has always been run by oppressive white men. And they
Mm-hmm.
even oppress women. Don't think that they just fell in love with you either.
Come on.
They've always oppressed women.
Mm-hmm.
They've always thought that women weren't smart enough to do anything. That's why they didn't let you own property. They didn't even let you vote at one
Yeah.
point.
Sure didn't.
So that's a protected class because women were discriminated against as well.
Mm-hmm.
Women benefited from our struggle for civil rights.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been riding on the back of these civil rights for some time now.
Mm-hmm.
So now to have the opportunity to pick a woman to put on that court whose main goal is going to be to take this right away from other women. should have every woman in America at the polls voting for the Democratic candidates.
Now just think how ironic that is, man. You going to get a woman to vote against women's rights, and
Right.
you're gonna pick the one that you know is gonna support your agenda to take away a woman's right. A
Mhm.
woman
Yeah,
that's
she got a
gonna
little. I got a little stimulus. She got a little stimulus check.
So she sold out. She sold out all the other women.
Easily. If you listen to how she answered questions, she can't even answer a question when it comes to certain issues because she know why she's there. That's her mission. But she don't want to tell you that because and it's not like she's really being, I don't know what the word is. It's not like she's being coy about it at all. She pretty much saying, I keep that to myself. Next. She'll answer the question every which way, but what you ask it. Think about it. You got a judge that won't answer a direct question. Huh? That means
It
she's
don't
a
seem like
liar.
yeah.
That means she's a liar. And that's what she's going to do when you elect her. She's going to do everything in her power to support the unrighteous side of this argument. And one, I am a man, but guess what? I would wholly support making a decision when it comes to abortion. Each and every woman who's in that situation.
Exactly.
I'm not into this. You know what do they call it? That man superiority type, whatever.
That macho type stuff.
You know, you know how some of you males now be big and women to let y'all be a man and all that crap. I don't
Never. We gotta call her. What's your name? Where you calling from? Leonard acting up this morning.
I'm gonna be civil.
Come on, the Glow family. What's
My
going
brother
on?
Kurt. My brother Kurt.
Town City.
Now look at here, Kurt. Perfect timing, brother, because I need to ask you the question, man. Me and Leonard right now. You know, this is way out Wednesday, so I'm gonna ask you this question. I'm gonna ask you what's on your heart because we're gonna open up the lines today to everybody what's on their heart. So I want to hear everybody's input today. But my thing is this right here, Curtis. We're talking about this Roe versus Wade and how and Leonard said that what they're doing, they selected a particular woman that's going to go in there and they know her agenda is to vote against the right for a woman that's going to vote against the right of a woman to make her own decisions. Kurt, what kind of fracking like a bull mess is that? What kind of bull mess is that, man? You got a woman that's gonna vote against, that's gonna sell herself out and take the money and sell out every other woman's right to make the decision whether she want to have an abortion. Something that's her body. And like I said, people say, well, Raheem, you know, that's not right. You're doing this, no, that's that woman's body. That's her right, whether she want to go through that whole process or not. But you're gonna get a woman that you personally select. Okay, now this is what you need to do. You got to go in there and you got to vote this way. Man, she's selling out all other women, her daughters, her aunts, her grandmother, her mother, and everybody else that you could think of. She's selling out all these people, man. Kurt, does that make sense?
Well, the whole thing is a moral calamity. The whole thing is a moral calamity, man. These people, I'm going to say these people because then I would say all of them. But I'm just going to call it space. The Republican Party is so lost in the woods right now, man, that they have become a permanent fixture of the trees in the woods. They are so lost, man. Listen, here's the hypocrisy in it all. Okay, so if your intention is to overturn Roe v. Wade, right? A woman's right to choose.
Yes.
And how can you, on the other hand, come out your mouth and say that you're for civil rights? How can you say you're against abortion, but you're for the death penalty? If your reasoning is we're against abortion because it's taking a life.
Come on.
I don't understand why people can't see the hypocrisy. You see what I'm saying? Like, okay, you know, the other man has been for years playing God, man. Playing God and attempting to show, because it's obviously not seen, or the devil got him so shaken that he can't see, so you winning. You like, realistically, you winning. I hate to say it like that, but if we go win, lose, y'all winning. Sit back, relax, chill out. Why y'all so worried? What bothers me about this whole thing is, I'm gonna say my party. My party's inability to show up to the gunfight with a gun. We always showing up to the gunfight with a knife. You know, or we show up to the boxing ring and our fighter got on 12-ounce gloves, that fighter got on 10 knuckles. But this whole thing is a complete calamity, it's the highest level of hypocrisy that we have seen since World War II.
That's good. That's good.
You're talking about, let me just end it like this right here. I don't even understand how I would have even accepted that nomination. If you want to speak professional morals, ethics, and values, that was supposed to get a click. You know what I mean by getting a click? You know what I mean?
Getting a click. What are you talking about?
Oh, hey, Judge McNeil, the president is on the phone for you. Oh, is he? Put him through. Yeah, Mr. McNeil, Judge McNeil, we really respect how you're doing things, and we just wanted you to know that we're going to nominate you. Click.
Oh, yeah.
Click. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. President. At the time, I'm just really not available at this time. I have some things going on with my family that I really need to be closer to my family with. But thank you. I appreciate the offer, but no thank you. But see, it go to show you, man, when people got agendas and they when people take positions for their pockets, most of the time it don't never work out.
Exactly. Rico, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Hey, I can't complain, man. What's going on with you?
Hey, doing good, man. We're talking about, this is Way Out Wednesday. This is Way Out Wednesday. I'm going to touch everybody that's coming on. I'm going to go back and let everybody have an opportunity to say what they want to talk about. But right now, we're talking about the Roe versus Wade, and Rico, how they found a young lady that's going to vote against all other women. They found her, Leonard said they laced her pocket up real good, and got her to the point whereas she's going to vote against Roe versus Wade, a woman's right, having the right to make her own decision. Rico, what kind of mess is that, man?
The same mess has been going on as usual. And we need to point that out.
Hey, Kirk, mute your line, Kirk.
I think we should start pointing that out more often than going back, letting them lead us by the collar and determining when we're going to respond and react to what they're doing. They already did this with Clarence Thomas. You know what I'm saying? They just changed the uniform and the skin. So, you know, then if you look at what Clarence Thomas did and then go back and see how this woman did, this is business as usual.
Biggest example.
So, I think sooner or later we have to realize, I said this from the very beginning too, Trump is the face still of an unseen hand. All these Republicans that was against him when he first, and they teamed up on him. You can find one person that supported him on that Republican Party. Now you got a few of them that went ahead and just left it alone, but a lot of them jumped on board. Lindsey Graham, Mitch McConnell, they dismissed him.
Yeah,
he was a joke. Now he's in office and everything is working fine. But think about it. Trump could care less about abortion. Trump is a capitalist businessman. He ran on a whim, and now all of a sudden he has this platform that the Conservative Party has been on since before he even got involved. So that still lets you know that even though we own him and we talking about him, it's still an unseen hand that's been behind the scenes in the Republican Party that's still pushing the button. What it is, they going back and forth with a compromise. That's why Trump is so responsible. That's why he's so contradictory. Because he's playing ball with these sticks. So one minute he's going along with the game plan, and then the next minute he's bucking the system. But they all stick together, and we don't see it as the American public. You know, so it's like we letting history repeat itself, and we speak on not letting history repeat itself, but we focus too much on the distraction and illusion that they put out there without looking at the tactic. That creates the cycle. You know what I'm saying? So we have to identify that when it first happens and know what's going on. Because I knew this was going to happen with Trump. I knew these people that was against him was going to get in and start supporting him. And as far as that Supreme Court nominee, her integrity has to be questioned right off the top.
Everybody that she supports.
I would refuse a job. If somebody before me got a job and they had to go through a process and there was a procedure that dictated that the process went this way, 4 years later when it comes back to me, I'm gonna accept that same. I'm gonna expect that same procedure. I don't want no scandal, no controversy. I want y'all to do the same thing. But just the fact that she's even accepting this nomination, knowing how they did the last time with Scalia 4 years ago and delayed Obama in doing it, the integrity of Mitch McConnell and the rest of them should be like, you know what, we're gonna stick to precedents. But that lets you know that's the history of these white males that Leonard was speaking of earlier. These same white males that didn't even want their white women to vote. You know what I mean? And women had two civil rights movements. They had women suffrage, and they came back in the 70s with feminism. So they had two runs.
Wow.
And that just goes to show you who they had to fight against.
Exactly.
They had to fight against their protectors.
A precedent that they set. That's the thing. That's why I say this whole thing is a moral hypocrisy. It's a precedent that they set. They held Obama from placing that seat for 46 months. Scalia died 46 months before the presidential election. This lady died, 45 days? You understand? We in the midst of an election. But I'm going to take what Rico said, not only for expanded. So if we all, everybody on this phone right now, if we all was hooked up in this this money scheme, right? And we knew that, man, look, the heat is getting hot in the kitchen. We got to do something. And we can control the out. We know they coming to get us. They going to lock us up. We know that part, right? But we got the power to control who pass sentence. We got the power to control who's going to be the judge, who's going to be the jury, and who's going to pass sentence.
Okay.
You know, like, what do? We utilize that power. It is my belief that they're stacking the court solely for the purpose of when this guy loses this election, and they start throwing all these court cases out there to try and steal the election. They got the court stacked. They're going to appeal because it's still got to go through a process. It's not going straight to the Supreme Court. So they got to go through a process of appeals when they lose. So they're going to go through get all the way to the Supreme Court, which is the Supreme Fact. Not only the election, but it is my opinion, man, that they all know that they get ready to go to jail. You got to remember, the Nixon administration, everybody went to jail except for Nixon.
Yeah.
Everybody went to jail. 120 people went to prison behind Nixon. So, and right now, it's really looking like, you know, insider friend of mine told me, hey, man, New York got him lock, stock, and barrel. He can't even get out of it. The only thing he can do at this point, if he loses this election, is to take a plea, is the cop a plea. That's it. They got him locked, stock, and barrel. You know, it's an open and shut case. They said, but he done stacked the court. So, you know, being a criminal, okay, you got me like that. Okay, I'm gonna file an appeal. Okay, I lose that, I'm gonna file an appeal. I lose that, I'm gonna file another appeal. I'm gonna file an appeal. I'm gonna keep filing an appeal to the higher court. Then when it get to the Supreme, I got people up there that I actually put in that seat up there. So they got a choice right now. We can ready to find out we can ready to the book. We're getting to the finale of the book. Now you can ready to find it's American. If this system integrity is really true, because now, honestly, the most powerful people in our institutional government, their integrity is good.
That's good. Yeah, absolutely. Leonard, talk to me, brother. What's on your heart?
Just listening to what Kurt was talking about, and we have to become very strategic oriented. We have to become very strategic oriented. People really need to take serious what their role in government. Democracy is important. You take it for granted because you always have it. You've always lived here. If you've never went to another country, the purpose of changing the court, your country could turn into a socialist country or communist country overnight, a dictatorship, strictly and enforced by the law. Remember, all types of slavery and discrimination used to be legal. Do you understand? That used to be legal here, but you all were not alive. We all were not alive then. So it's far reaching. Oh, that'll never happen. If you put the right people in place, it will happen. Where you won't be able to be as free as you used to. You may not have Miranda rights anymore. You know, those, you may not have protection against unlawful search and seizure. We need
much like it was in New York a few years ago.
And much like it's being abused on people of color disproportionately.
Yeah.
You know, it has become okay, even with Negroes, to treat other black people unlawfully and unethically. And you come in, I'm just doing my job. That's no longer an excuse for doing the wrong thing, in my opinion.
Exactly.
You just doing your job. What if your job is to murder innocent women and children? Well, you just taking it to the extreme. Put a flag on your little camouflage outfit and be under the United States Code of Military Justice and be given an order to completely destroy a community of African Americans. That's how it happens. You can quit pretending. I know a lot of people talk about stuff that makes no sense at all. And when it comes to government, talk about Christianity and everything is absolutely ridiculous. That's just talk on the side of what actually happens. You can talk about wanting to do the right thing all you want, but if you don't do it, it's worthless.
Exactly. Exactly. Rico, talk to me, brother. Rico, you there?
Had it on mute for a second.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Had
sir.
it on mute for a second.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think like what Leonard said a second ago about us being so comfortable that if we aren't careful, we can easily end up in a dictatorship and not even realize it. They might keep the name democracy on top of it because we so uneducated and distracted that we don't even realize that we living under a dictatorship, but they still call it a democracy because we just, unconcerned. Just, caught up in so many of the wrong things. And I look at past history and realize that we react more than anything. And psychoanalysts, they know this. You know what I'm saying? In businesses and in government, they know that the general population is looking to be led and then react to whatever is put out there. They ain't gonna think about the past. But to me, I'm looking at the past, and it's starting to look like right before 9/11 to me. And I'm gonna tell you the reason why. Actually, it's starting to look like right before 9/11. Then it's starting to look again like right before the recession hit, and they had to cancel all the campaigns because we were going in a recession. That took a lot of distraction from investigations that was supposed to came up against Bush and China when the recession hit. But when 9/11 hit, it stopped this thing called the Securities and Exchange Commission investigation. It just died. A lot of people avoided prison and stayed free. They're alive, living their best lives today, even though they ripped off the whole country. I ain't gonna say destroyed it, just ran through it. So that investigation went up in smoke with that imaginary plane that hit Building 4, World Trade Center 4. And nobody brings it up. It didn't have to end, but it just let it, the citizens of the United States just got quiet and they government sweep it up under the rug. Leave it alone. We ain't gonna investigate these people, even though it was about to hit the fan. It was real close. And these people were gonna have to do some prison time, just like Leonard, Curtis said. So now you think about history repeating itself. Those that actually dictate history can make it repeat or may not make it repeat because they understand and pay attention to it. But those of us out here just looking and responding and commenting, we're still only being led by our leashes. They lead us by our nose. And we have to make sure that on the outside looking in, if we are not involved, we still got to keep we got to teach history. It's up to us to let other people know, hey man, this is going on again. This ain't new.
Yeah.
They're doing it again, but now they're doing it a lot quicker because we're distracted by a lot more stuff. Like Leonard said earlier, you've got a lot of recreation. So with all this recreation, you got people that really want to make the decisions that know that they could get away with murder because people ain't got time to be listening to this. They don't even want to go spend 2 minutes to vote. You got to pull teeth to get people to go vote. And then they find a reason to not vote. My vote don't count.
Yeah.
That's really just saying, man, I ain't got time to go up there and do that in little 2 or 3 minutes. So they know the general population are people that were unmotivated and didn't have goals to achieve a whole lot. But they in the place and they had those goals and that motivation and want to lead and create laws and make all the decisions. And that behavior and that mindset sticks with you throughout life. We in the process out here on the outside looking in, we got to change up those that lost or distracted or enjoying too much recreation and get them on board to thinking like those that automatically make the decisions.
Exactly.
Because if we don't, we will end up in that dictatorship right up on our nose.
Leonard, do you think that that whole 9/11 thing was strategic?
Of course it was strategic. That's how it happened. You don't fly planes in the buildings in the United States like that without clearance. Do you understand?
Come on, talk about it.
So we have to think about how we, internal infrastructure and how things happen. That's how important this is. We have entire agencies dedicated to certain things in the United States. Not, other countries don't have all these, we're supposed to be trying to do things right and ethical, but you have people who get into office and the first thing they head for is to destroy your ethical compliance laws. And so then they're allowed to make moves and do things under the guise of government and pass them off as legal. And this is why you have laws on the ballot right now that citizens should have to be able to hold these people accountable, even legally. We should have the right to appeal to the court of what these agencies or local law enforcement or whatever are doing to people. It's one thing to look at these debates during the general election for president and to forget you live on the street in a city somewhere. What your politics look like on that street?
Come on.
Who do you go see when you mess up in the state of Georgia? You got a whole court system of judges there that have reputations as well. And they hold down discrimination. They support these things. Okay? It's easy to get judges to support something when you put they back in on their pension. You'll go and make all these rules in the NFL. Let's use the NFL, for instance. Oh, you can't hit them like this. Oh, he's the passer. You can't rough the passer. Oh, you can't do this, that, and the other. That's the same type of thing they do out here in this government. They come up with rules and laws that allow certain people holding the ball to get just a little bit of more padding, a little bit more respect, where you can't hit them all kind of ways. You understand what I'm saying? But they run the game.
Yeah.
And these little laws and these little reasons why these courts is being stacked is to do just that. So you already got a sheriff who can come in your house and kill you anyway. A lot of y'all don't even know how powerful the sheriff is. That's an elected position that you can change.
Yeah.
Some of y'all living in areas where you got a sheriff and his deputies torturing everybody in the county, doing whatever they want to do, when all y'all got to do is show up and vote him out.
Exactly. And
of course they're going to threaten you. You talking about, well, things, of course they're going to threaten you. Of course they're going to try to get you not to run. Of course they're going to tell you you're not qualified. But what they found out, we so overqualified, they got to change the rules to something else now.
Exactly.
So you have to realize there are people who are dedicated against you. And if you don't fight them, they're going to win because they're organized, they fund it, and they support it.
Good deal. Curtis, what do you say to that, man? Was 9/11, was it strategic?
Well, when it comes to 9/11, I get real conspiracy theorists, man. Because first off, you got to pay attention to what was going on at the time. The financial collapse. If there was a okay, let me do this real quick. Enron was the number one company in the United States, in the world. Okay, Enron collapses, and as a result, the Anderson firm collapsed, right? So the Anderson firm collapsed as a result of the Enron debacle. Well, when the Anderson thing collapsed, you not only find out that their tactics of keeping the books was fraudulent, but it wasn't just Enron they was doing the books for. They was doing the books for Health South, and they was doing the books for another third giant. Health South was the number one insurance provider, medical insurance provider in the United States. Okay, so now you got three of the major companies that's being investigated, like Reek said. Okay, so now what do you hit? What do you hit? You hit the building that has all of the hard copies of any kind of financial transactions. So I've always looked at that like, man, that just don't seem right. That seems like we need to destroy some evidence. I could be wrong, but that's what it seemed like. But I'm gonna go back to something that Leonard said, because Leonard said a very powerful acronym: the Uniform Code of Military Justice. in the Uniform Code of Military Justice, which is the set laws that a soldier governs himself by, and that every soldier who finds himself in trouble standing before a court martial and going through a criminal and or local case, meaning a case just within his unit, every soldier is tried according to the UCMJ, Uniform Code of Military Justice.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in the Uniform Code of Military Justice, you actually have a law that's a part of your oath that tells you you are not to obey, you do not have to obey unlawful orders.
Mm-hmm.
You do not have to follow an unlawful order. If an order is given to you and it is against your moral, ethical, and governmental code, meaning the first thing you say when you swear in is, I, Curtis D. McNeil Jr., do solemnly swear to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So even our forefathers and those way before us understood that an enemy just don't have to be across the water.
Yeah,
exactly.
There's domestic enemies, you know what I mean? And then when Rick talked about history, let me run this by y'all real quick, man, before I go. Even during the American Revolution, there were monarchy sympathizers. What makes us think that changed?
Thank you.
Mm.
You had a Benedict Arnold.
Yes,
you
we
had
did.
several Benedict Arnolds.
Mm-hmm.
Benedict just was the most popular one because he sat in a seat.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he was so popular. But he had a whole follower. That was a whole team. You know, Raheem, you get a chance, man. There's a show on Showtime right now. There's a couple shows on Showtime right now that blew my mind. I ran across them last night while I was icing up. One, the show is called Agents of Chaos. They take you all the way back to Russia. They show you, they follow the money.
Mm-hmm.
They take you all the way back to Russia and follow the money. It is crazy what they put out. Man, I was sitting there, my mouth was laying on the floor.
Mm.
And then there's a show called, it's with Ethan Hawke, the boy from Training Day, the white boy from Training Day.
Yeah.
It's called the Good Bird, Good God Bird, or Good God Bird. That's what it's called, Good God Bird.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically the slave revolts. Bro, by the time that show came on and I watched that, my mouth had done went through the floor and hit the base.
Good Lord. Good Lord. Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's go to Rico. Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
Yeah, I definitely believe that 9/11 job was inside. I was suspicious. Well, you know what? 60 Minutes did a show, and they aired that show one time, and they never repeated it again. And oh man, Dan Rather was the one did it, and it was showing how they had already been predicting. I'm gonna say not even predicting, asking for. Oh yeah, I guess you could say predicting a 9/11, a new Pearl Harbor. Came from the PennDOT. I think they call it the plan for a new American century or something like that. And so they actually had a plan in motion before George Bush W even got in office. Because they were predicting somebody was going to do a Pearl Harbor. And it just kept being rhetoric. So, you know, they put that energy in the air to prepare us. Now, some people paid attention to it, that fear mongering. Oh, they going to do a Pearl Harbor? Where they get this from? Where they get this from? But, you know, just being familiar with it and having it rubbed in our faces. Remember Pearl Harbor. Remember Pearl Harbor. Then boom, it happened. But right before our eyes, they demolished a building. It's right in our eyes, man, on live TV, and want to tell us our history of seeing demolitions doesn't add up to the same thing. Then, after years pass, they don't want to do an investigation. Who doesn't want to investigate the quote unquote biggest terrorist act on American soil level. Who wouldn't want to investigate that?
Exactly. Come on.
Fully.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'll break all kind of laws. You talking about Guantanamo Bay? You talking about you were taking people to Guantanamo Bay and waterboarding them and this and that? Might have been waterboarding America. Anybody trying to find out about that, but they didn't want to keep the investigation going.
But do you think it was so much easier, Rico, if they just say that it was who they say it was Hussein and go over there and do what they wanted to do on his soil? Do you think it was so much easier to do that?
Yeah, that it was easier. Well, I'm gonna say it was easier for them, but for the world and for human beings, it wasn't easy because there were a lot of lives lost behind that, and war got started behind that.
Yes, absolutely.
With lives of weapons mass destruction. I mean, they tried to link everybody in with it. I mean, just think about that. They tried to say that Saddam Hussein had something to do with it right off the top.
Yeah, yeah.
And he didn't have nothing to do with it. You know what I mean? So, like I said,
it was Al-Qaeda, is what they say.
We see it with our own eyes. We saw it with our own eyes. We saw Building 4 go down without a plane hitting it and with a small fire in the middle of it. We saw that building go down after seeing all these demolitions. And then on top of it, I remember when I was young, I'm going to say like in about I'm about 6 or 7 years old. And I would see them testing airplanes for black box safety and passenger safety. And they'd be crashing them in the desert. And my first question would be, man, they got a lot of money to be crashing them planes in the desert. I ain't never even flew on one, and they just crashing them. Then my second thing was, in my young brain, where's the pilot?
Yeah.
My grandmama said, fools, ain't no pilot out there. They'll be gonna die. I said, they could be parachuting out of it. She looked at me with this little look she gave me. Then she was like, remote control. Blew my mind at 5 or 6 years old to hear her say something about remote control, because I had just witnessed remote control cars.
Yeah, yeah.
Here it is, way back then, they got remote control airplanes. And guess what? People don't believe that they still got them. Can you imagine that? People don't believe that they can still remotely fly 747s in the building if they want to, but they got the technology to overtake the piloting of a plane, and the pilot can't even do something with it. And then they don't realize how sadistic, like I said, you go back to history, how sadistic is your country. They don't even want, they didn't even want to investigate John F. Kennedy.
Yeah. Exactly.
They didn't want to treat people for syphilis. They wanted to test you and observe you and see just how bad you'll get. Experimenting, evil people. So this is our history. You know, 9/11 definitely was an inside job. I don't think nobody intentionally, I don't think pilots flew those planes or hijackers flew those planes in the building. I think they were taking over by remote control. If that was how that happened.
Exactly. Leonard, what do you say to that, man? Do you think it's some validity in that?
Well, I think anything is possible. You find out who benefited from it. You know, there's some things happen for a reason. And people, you know, it's just like we just woke up one day and this happened. No, someone planned this. This was a coordinated effort. There are a lot of things that go on. The accidents truly are accidents. You can tell. Because no one knows what's going on. But conspiracy theory does have some merits, because there are several things going on that people don't know about. There are certain things going, there are certain people who are just the type of folks that will do anything to have power. They'll run for president, not even expecting to win. Drum up and play on people's emotions and get elected president.
Yep.
Okay. What you think the mob was going to do? The mob was like, you know, we pretty soon we going to run out. We got to bring up our game. So what they start doing? Running politicians. So we have to understand what the motive and agendas are behind certain people. A lot of people are just profit-oriented people. They don't care about people. They're profit-oriented. So if 150,000 people benefits their pockets, kill them. That's who they are. That's who these are several types of people. They don't care. We'll build our factory, but it's going to poison and give everybody cancer in the town. Well, what they got to do with my money? And who going to stop me? That's how things go. And when you don't stand, you see, just seen with a pipeline issue.
Mm-hmm.
This is what these people do. Their motive is profit. Profit above people, profit above needs, profit above elderly, disabled, children, everything. They're like, one, sex trafficking is so big because the money involved.
Mm-hmm.
And so, one, when you follow the money and you see people doing these things, why you think they don't go to jail? Because the judges that are in place to allow them a little bit more freedom than you and I. Like this boy that's clearly a domestic terrorist. They trying to figure out every way they can by not charging him with every charge he deserves to be incarcerated for the rest of his natural life or not given the death penalty.
This young guy with the gun?
Yes, Rittenhour or whatever. I believe his name was Rittenhour. Excuse me, I can't read.
Yeah.
I forget sometimes. So you have to realize to put the pieces together. You have to get away from sitting in front of your TV watching that sponsored news.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to go somewhere and find folks that are writing about people that are being ran over and killed in other countries right now fighting for democracy, trying to get some say-so. Police brutality ain't just happening in the United States of America.
Exactly.
It's happening all over the world. That's why people standing up all over the world, because of police brutality. And because these people believe that America is so great that if we support America, that America will support our efforts. You understand what I'm saying? So they're over in other countries. They're trying, man, if the Americans could just spread democracy a little bit further across the border and give us a right to do this and to do that. Why you think they come in here?
Yeah.
The people are coming here because the odds of becoming successful and taking care of your family and everything is still great here.
Yeah.
Than where they're at. This it's not that people don't have have food. It's people keeping them from the food. That's why we have to. There are people right next door to the starving people. And if you try to take some food to them, they kill you.
Wow.
You can't come up this road. We're not allowing supplies or nothing to come up this road. I run this area now. I'm running this area now. And I'm the leader of whatever rebellion and blah, 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 blah. So now all these people, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this down. I'm going to rape, rob, kill, steal, and do whatever I want in this area. That's what I'm going to do. And I got the guns and everything to hold it down. When you don't have a constructed democracy, this is what life is like.
Wow.
And so we have to understand that importance. I remember I'm a 70s baby. So I remember when civics and things were very important because it taught you how to be an American citizen. And then you'll have people come on, well, we ain't been American. I don't care what you think and how you feel because you're going to be dead.
Exactly.
You're going to make a move or your behavior is going to be out of control and you're going to act out on your emotions instead of taking responsibility. And that's why you're going to wind up in prison somewhere. Because you're going to always try to find the wrong way to do something. That's what you're going to do. So we need to educate young people to understand how government works, where they fit in, and hold people accountable. If you put decent people in government, you'll get a better government. White folks don't understand how much better government would be with decent people involved. See, they don't want to let their power go. They don't want to let that power go.
And that's exactly what the issue is.
It's a
we have another caller.
Struggle.
Caller, what's your name? Exactly. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from? Caller, you there? Caller from the 803 area code. 803 area code. Are you there?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was talking on mute. This is Sherelle calling from Columbia, South Carolina.
Good morning, young lady. How you doing?
Morning.
Sherelle, I have to ask you a question, and I'm glad you're here because I want to hear from a female standpoint. Are you familiar with the Roe versus Wade? I can't even get it right this morning. Roe versus Wade. You familiar with that? What they talk?
I am familiar with that.
Okay. Now the young lady that they're trying to vote in to the Supreme Court right now, I think her main objective is to vote against it and take away a woman's right to have control of her own body. Now she's selling out for whatever they offer her. She's selling out for that, selling out herself, her children, her daughters, her mother, grandmother, nieces, and all of these people, and not to mention every other woman in the United States of America. What do you say about that? How do you feel about that? Come on, sis. I ain't never seen you back up. I ain't never seen you back up.
No, I'm not back. I'm not backing up, but that goes to kind of prove what he was just saying. You know, you got to get these people out of here. You know what I'm saying? Like I mean, it all comes down to stepping us as the people stepping up to the plate.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to get people like that out of here. I mean, to each his own, but how I feel about it, I mean, she can do what she wants.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but that still doesn't affect me. I'm not a 100% law-abiding citizen anyway. I don't think anybody is.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But we just have to get people like that, you know, out of there. It's just a means of educating yourself on the Constitution and stuff like that, and what needs to be changed with the Constitution, what needs to be changed within laws of your state, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to get people like that out of here. This is what I do often. I'm more concerned with a local level of officials, you know what I'm saying? So I pay attention more so to them. I could really care less about what she's trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But we got to get people like that out of here.
Now, do you think
I mean, that's all I can really say.
Okay, but and that's good. But my thing is, should a woman have the right, if she want to have an abortion, should she have the right to do that if she want to?
Yeah, definitely. If that's what she wants to do, that's her body. That's her. She has to deal with that. You know, I don't think nobody should tell you you can't do something like that if you don't know what the situation happened. You know what I'm saying? You don't know how that person is dealing with that situation. You know what I'm saying? How they got in that situation. But you have those people who are pro it and who are against it. You know what I'm saying? And so, I mean, that's to each their own on that. If that's what you want to do, I don't feel like me as a person can tell you, no, I don't think you should do this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know how you're feeling. I don't know what you're going through or anything like that, but you have to live with it if that's your choice.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't have to live with it. You do. But I'm not here. I'm pro-choice. You know what I'm saying? I'm very pro-choice. But I don't think nobody I don't think that should be a law.
Yeah, exactly.
if that's what you're asking me, I don't think that should be a law.
Now, do you think 9/11 with the planes going into the buildings? Do you think that was strategic? Do you think it's something that was set up, or did it just happen the way they say it happened? What do you say?
Absolutely. I think a lot of stuff in the government is set up. Honestly, I think a lot of it is set up. You know, media, I think that a part of that is set up. You can look up Operation Mockingbird, and that'll tell you right there. You know what I'm saying? But I just don't. I do believe it was a setup, and I do believe it was a motive behind it. With that motive, that I can't pinpoint exactly what it was, but I absolutely think that was a setup. But I think a lot of stuff in the government is a setup. So. Okay. I don't trust the government as far as I can see it, honestly.
Exactly. Good deal. 678-381-1973. 678-381-1973. This is Way Out Wednesday. Don't really have a topic. We're just asking everybody what's on their heart. So with that being said, Rico, what's on your heart, brother? What you want to talk about today?
You know, going by the way this conversation is, to me, it really reveals how much more we need to take it upon ourselves to spread the knowledge. And that's something, I subconsciously did that and didn't even realize that was just something that I did. But, you know, it's like whenever I used to learn something new and interesting, and that was very important, I couldn't wait to tell other people and break it down to them, especially. But I found out that sometimes those people didn't think those were important issues.
Mm-hmm.
And so now you get to be adults to late 20s, 30s, 40s, whatever. And you start speaking about conspiracies. You speak about JFK. And it, man, it shouldn't have never been a conspiracy. If you just look at the picture, you can see the man's body going 2 different directions. So that's 2 bullets from 2 different directions.
Yeah.
I saw that the very first time I saw it in slow motion. I'm like, wait a minute, what they mean 1 bullet? So, I mean, you know, how did that go on that long? Everybody saw the same footage I saw.
Mm-hmm.
So you start speaking about conspiracy, and some people will be like, oh, man, ain't nobody doing nothing like that. But so that lets you know they don't know about think tanks. They don't know about lobbyists and the parts they play with corrupting your public officials that you elect. They don't, even if it's correct or incorrect, all by a vote of certain people that might have an agenda or might just want $1 in their pocket from the Koch brothers.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you know, and they come up with their curriculum through a think tank. They use psychologists, businesses, government, they use psychologists to think about, you know, to analyze the people. But we have to take it upon ourselves to spread this knowledge. You know, she brought up Operation Mockingbird. I like to bring up Operation Northwoods. Operation Northwoods would have been the first 9/11. Now, a lot of people didn't know about it. It was conspiracy until the CIA finally released documents admitting that they had did this plot.
Mm-hmm.
And they were so intent to destroy Fidel Castro. They still tripping about the sugar from way back. Mm-hmm. They were so intent to get Fidel Castro back in the, I think it was in the 60s, maybe early 70s, that they had plans to fly a remote control airplane into a building in downtown Miami. And I think it was a president or somebody at the time wouldn't allow it because I think it was John F. Kennedy. They ran it across him and he wouldn't allow it. He got wind of it. And so it got scrapped. But the evidence of the plot never got scrapped, so it got released. So now, if you know, way back then, way before 2001, 30 years before, that they was willing to bomb Miami, downtown Miami, with a remote control plane, why wouldn't they think to do it again?
Yeah. Yeah.
For whatever reason or agenda that they have. So it's up to us to spread the knowledge and spread the wealth. Every chance I get, I tell people about Operation Northwoods. Go look it up. People that's older than me, younger than me, look it up so you'll know what kind of society exists right up under our nose.
Exactly.
I was looking at I think it was FBI Declassified came on last night after the Titans finished whooping butt. And they were talking about a spy swap. 8 American spies. No, 8 Russian spies. No, 10. 10 Russian spies that they had caught over here. And they traded them out for 4 Russian spies. And they told a story about how they flew the planes over there and met them on the tarmac. And how when these people went back to Russia, they got praised and this and that. And I'm listening to the CIA people. And they just smiling and all kind of delight in this cloak and dagger action. It was interesting. It was an adrenaline. You could see the excitement. Oh, man, it was so exciting. We pulled up on the tarmac and we traded spies. And I'm like, man. That's the whole lifestyle that people walking around here doesn't realize exists. That you flying under the cloak of different names, fake ID, going around the world trying to, you know, to commit espionage and risking your life, getting caught in prison for life on behalf of who and what. So I mean that life exists, and we got a big demographic of society walking around here in their recreation and their distractions, not realizing what all is going on the planet they live on, that affects them.
Exactly. Let me ask you this question. There's a certain thing called hood laws. There's a certain thing called hood laws that everybody know in the hood. No, you know, you gonna go by these laws, or we gonna get you. It's hood laws. Now, if we take a lot of those same hood laws and put them in government, would they work?
It really depends. I mean, it's not like hood law is so outlandish, really. Hood law is basic, is really basic to most people everywhere you go. You just call it hood law because it's in your neighborhood. It's actually driven completely by emotion. There is even a tinge of what's wrong and what's right, or what you shouldn't do, or what should warrant retaliation. And basically, so one, I always say, people thought the hood this, the hood ain't nothing, because if I get a piece of paper in my hand in a certain position, I can shut you down. I can send all of you to jail, take your houses, and put someone else there. That's the game you need to be interested in. That hood mess ain't about nothing, really. When people want to come down on you, you know how they do. They roll up. And gangs only do what police allow them to do. And that's why even the gangs got enough sense to know you got to pay the police. This is not rocket science.
I tell people all the time, man, the police is the biggest gang.
Exactly. They allow it to go on. And you think you running this. No, everybody, if you trust me, the biggest dope dealer on your block paying police.
Yeah.
That's why he the biggest. You can't be big unless you pay the police.
Got to pay them all.
Okay.
True.
So I don't know how y'all running it these days, or y'all got some folks out there. I see these police spend millions and millions of dollars chasing 4 little bags of weed, and then look what we did. You ain't did nothing. You ain't did nothing. They don't spend millions of dollars looking for $50,000 worth of weed. That makes no sense. It's a game that they playing with y'all, so y'all can keep volunteering for this system that puts y'all back in slavery.
And that big bust that they make, when they make that great big old bust, how long is it, Leonard, before those same drugs are back on the street?
Probably that night. I'm just saying. If you're dirty, you're dirty. And you have to think of it that way. You can't say, well, folks, what they shouldn't do. It's not about what someone shouldn't do. It's about what they can get away with. Shouldn't do works in religion. You understand? That's emotions and women and stuff. When they talk a lot, they get caught up. Well, he shouldn't do that. It ain't about what he shouldn't do. It's about what you let him do, what you allowed him to do, what he got away with. So this notion that everybody gonna be doing the right thing and all this type of stuff has to be dispensed with. There has to be laws and orders and systems put in place to ensure that.
Exactly.
Like, I'm not against, a lot of people, have a certain opinion. I am not against certain things. I am not against people who harm innocents. That's big with me. That's like a guiding principle for me when it comes to certain things. The harming of innocent people. So if there's anything that's harming innocent people, I'm usually against that.
Have an issue with it.
I have a serious issue with that. And it's across the board on everything. Housing, science, blah, blah, you name it. That's a guiding principle of mine. Because I have a respect for innocent people. Who are just trying to live and do the best they can. It's crazy.
678-381-1973. 678-381-1973. This is Way Out Wednesday. Don't have a topic today. You bring the topic. You bring the topic to the table. Whatever you want to talk about, we will talk about it and talk about it in its entirety. Give us a call. 678-381-1973. Sherelle, what's on your heart? What you want to talk about? Let's change the subject a little bit. What's on your heart, sis?
I'm listening. I don't really have nothing to talk about.
Okay. Let's talk with Leonard. As a matter of fact, let me go to Rico. Rico, let's talk about this whole COVID situation there, corona, and how they're jeopardizing our children and opening back up these schools, children and administrators and other families, because the children go to school, they contract it and they take it back home. So should the schools be back open? I know how I feel about it, but what do you say about that, Rico?
I feel it could be open back up if they plan better to protect the teachers and the students. I don't see too much. It might not be meant for me to see it because I'm not an educator. I'm not a teacher. But it seems to me that it would be more. It would be more exposed in the media just how much of an effort they've made to make sure this is going to be a safe action to send your kids back to school.
But see,
some of these kids want to go. Some of the parents want them to go. Some of these parents, they can't afford to have the children at home like that by themselves. And the kids, they want to go because they want the camaraderie. They try to sit at home for them a few hours. It was an advantage at first, but now they seeing mama and daddy fight all day. They seeing all kind of hood stuff go on that they didn't know was going on while they was in school. And some of them actually they embracing it.
Mm-hmm.
They losing, some of the schools losing students right now. They losing the mind because they ain't got the right atmosphere to substitute what they lacking since they've been out of school. I mean, this last 6 or 7 months been very detrimental to people, and it's gonna mess them up forever. Just this little bit of time is gonna get them off the little positive edge that they may have been on if they were barely surviving.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure some of those children that were barely surviving right now gonna go back to school in a lot worse shape.
Yeah, exactly. We got another call.
A lot more risk to it.
Absolutely. We got another call. We're going to go to the call in just 1 second. But right now, I want to go to Sherelle. Sherelle, what do you say about that? Should these schools be back open? Are we sacrificing our children?
I mean, I have to agree with what he just said. I mean, I think if they can better plan at it, I mean, I agree with what he just said. I don't think we're sacrificing our children.
Mm-hmm.
I think at this point, it's survival of the fittest right now. You're in survival mode. So some people have to do what they have to do. You know what I'm saying? Do I agree right now with them going back? I don't know. These numbers been up and down. You know what I'm saying? So do I agree with them going back? I do think they need face-to-face teaching, because being at home clearly showed that a lot of parents probably don't even know what they're doing themselves. You know what I'm saying? So they need that teaching. But do I think it's safe right now? No. They keep telling us on the news, I don't know if people watch it early in the morning is when they really tell you what's really going on. Then during the day, they tell you what they want you to know. You know what I'm saying? Early in the morning, they'll tell you, like, numbers will go back up in the fall. They said this in April?
Yeah.
Numbers will go back up. You know what I'm saying? So, and in New York, allegedly, numbers are starting to go back up a little bit.
Yeah, they're going back up. Yep, they're rising.
And they said it. Yep. They're skyrocketing. So, I don't know. I don't think that we're so much as sacrificing the kids. I don't think we have a good protection plan out here right now. I think it's just going with the flow at this point. And some people have to. You know, some people have to send their kids back, and some people don't. Is mine going back at this point? Right now, no. No, but
why not?
If they feel like they want to, you know, if they feel like they want to, I can. My son plays football. That's a contact sport. You know what I'm saying? So he's outside and he's touching other kids. When he has a game today, he has to go touch kids from a whole nother school. You know what I'm saying? But they play with their mask on and stuff like that. But these kids need interaction. I think this is a form of mental prison. Even when they go back to school, it's a form of mental prison. I mean, honestly, I don't think it's a sacrifice. I think it's just something that happened. It's something going on out there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But our protection plan is just not there completely right now. I don't think we're thinking. I think we opened it up a little too soon. This is a pandemic, a bad pandemic. Well, a pretty not too bad, because we had pandemics it seems like every time election year comes, it's a pandemic of something, you know. But I just think we have to play it smart, continue to be healthy, eat right, live right. You know, at this point, you know, you can send them back and be at risk. You can be at home and be at risk. Either which way you go, you're at risk. Yeah. You know, we come into contact with people all the time. So sending them back or not sending them back, we're still at risk.
Do you think? Do you think in some situations, I'm going to go to a call as well. We got another call. Do you think in some situations, parents need that babysitter? Because, you know, having them at home and then being at home all day and every day, you know, the grocery bill going up, the light bill going up, and everything's going up. And the parents just need to send them back to school so they have a place for them to be during the daytime, that babysitter.
Shoot, I'm a parent. You know, goodbye, goodbye. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not sending mine back. I'm not sending. I love being around my kids.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. I really do love being around my kids. But I mean, that's situational. I can't speak on nobody else and what I think about that. In my situation, I don't need a babysitter. I'm mama 24 hours a day. So you know, but I do think the pandemic has shown parents how their children really acting when they're in school. You know, but there's a lot of people thought, no, that's not my child. That's your child.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah, that's him. That's him. That's him right there.
Other than that, I can't really. Yeah, that's him. Oh, that's him. But I can't really say. But no, I'm not gonna. I don't need a babysitter.
Good
my
deal.
Children are you know, I don't need one. But I can't speak for anybody else, so I can't even answer that question.
Got you.
So.
Minister Neal, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. How's everybody this morning?
Hey, doing good, brother. Good to have you, man. Let me ask you something. Do you think with the kids going back to school or not going back to school, do you think with the kids not going back to school, being at home for this amount of time, being taught at home virtually, do you think the parents have a greater appreciation of teachers now and educators?
I would hope so. I would hope they would have it beforehand. Because a lot of teachers impact your child's life at a very early stage of their growth. So I truly believe that. I hope that they're actually being in tune with the teachers as well as they groom their kids. So a lot of teachers that are out there now, they are grooming their kids. And you see a lot because I was looking at something, I guess about a month ago, I had a teacher, she got with me COVID. And that impact she had on her students, even from the past into the present that she had. In fact, she had how they were breathing. So that said that she had a bit of a positive impact on their lives. So I truly hope that they have that appreciation for someone who's going to actually impact their children's lives kind of ways when it comes to them. Lives. So I hope so.
Good deal. Ricky, you got a little background on what's going on, brother. Do you have it on speaker or something?
No, I'm in my car. It's probably wild.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we got a little background on it. Maybe your windows roll down or something. We got a little.
Is it better now?
Yeah, much better. Now, what do you think about this Roe versus Wade, man? What a young lady she's supposed to be on the Supreme Court, and she's being placed in it to go strictly to go against it and to vote against it. What do you think about that?
Man, well, I have reservations about it because I think that at the end of the day, you know, we really don't have saying of what a person does with their body. And I say that because even though I'm not a fan of abortion, and I'm not someone who's going to advocate for abortion. I'm not going to wave a flag for it, none of that. But at the same token, I truly understand exactly when women are put in certain situations and certain things have gone on, and they have to make certain kind of decisions. Do I condone it? No, I can. But do I condemn them? No, as well. So I can't. I mean I kind of stay away from that because I think that's something that the woman, she knows, and a lot of, and I was listening to that sister speak about her kids, and she said how much I love being around my kids.
Yes.
So so that's part of motherhood, and I think that's part of being a mother. And I'm proud that she said I'm a mother 24/7. She said I'm a mother and a father 24/7. I for that. She said that conviction. Yeah. So do I have reservations about it? Yes. Do I think that it's something that I wink an eye? Yes. But at the same token, I can't really tell you how to conduct yourself. And when you're talking about going in front of a judge and telling me that I can't do this and something, it could be for health reasons. It can be from incest. It can be from all kinds of situational rapes and things of that nature. It can be all kinds of things that can happen. And you have to take that into consideration. So, but that decision negates all those different scenarios. So yes, do I think that it's something that needs to be looked at? Yes. And something that needs to be revisited? Yes, and might be tweaked a little bit, because I truly believe that a lot of the motivation that's coming behind it is because my dear sisters are having kids when their women are not. If you understand what I'm saying. So I think that's part of their motivation. And the reason why I'm saying that, because someone made a comment about that on one of the talk shows. And they were saying that if you look at the stats, that more of them that are having interracial or mixed babies, they are actually having Caucasian babies now. So they're upset about that as well.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of this thing. It's a bottom line, and it's an underline to this thing as well. So I would definitely look back. I have to shine on that a little bit.
Good deal. Good deal. Donald Toussaint, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning? Donald, you there? Donald, wake up and go to sleep. Wake up and go to sleep. Rico, talk to me, brother. You think some of these parents need a babysitter, man?
My mute button.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. I mean, I ain't gonna say they need a babysitter. I'm gonna say that's what their motivation is. That's why they want them to go back to school so quick. That's the reason why they look forward to them going to school every year. So I can get y'all out my house. I can't wait till y'all get y'all tail back in school so y'all can find something to do, and I don't have to be bothered with y'all. I can do what I want to do. So yeah, that's the big motivation. But some of the kids need the babysitter. Like I said, some of them at home watching fights and dope dealing and smoking. You know, they watching a whole lot of. They probably watching Mama creep and Daddy creep while the other one at work, seeing what's going on while they at school. So they are, some of them children, I'm gonna be honest with you, this is school is their only escape.
Yeah.
And that's the only escape. And when you're in a situation where school is your only escape, your only positive outlook, or your happiness is to wake up in the morning, look forward to going to school, and letting the teacher see that you're intelligent and getting praise and recognition. And then all of a sudden, when you get on that school bus to go back home, you got to go back to your situation that you dread. Some of these children need that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to speak on the Roe versus Wade, because when I first learned of abortion, I thought that could only be a woman's decision. I was like, man, you know, man, I ain't got no right to be even involved in that. When I even found out it existed, that was my first initial thought. Then I heard about the Roe versus Wade case. I was in high school when I heard about that. I think they made a movie on it. But now as I've gotten older, I realized, just like with Roe versus Wade, some laws can't be in general. Some have to be on an individual basis. You have to look at a lot of things on an individual basis. And so with that belief that I used to have about that only being a woman's decision, I got older and I started dating women. I started dating some lying women, some spiteful women, some cheating women. I started dating some honest women. But in the process, I started dating women that I seen that may get mad at you and get rid of a baby, even though y'all agreed to have this baby. She did it out of emotion, took that life and ended it. Something that she claimed she wanted, but out of emotion, she got mad because she's mad at you for some reason. Maybe you cheating. Who knows what it is? But when that happens, you know, what right does that man or that child have? And so, you know, I got to asking myself, I was like, man, you know, what really makes men think they can have a say-so in a woman making that decision? But then when you start going to science and you start talking about babies can hear you in the womb, you read to them, they taking this knowledge in, that means they dealing with some feeling and emotion, right? Some type of intelligence is going on inside the womb. So when you learn that through science, and then you go back to that Roe versus Wade case, you start thinking to yourself, well, wait a minute. You know, that child might be looking forward to whatever it is they listening to on the outside. They know there's something going on out there, and they can't wait to experience it. Then all of a sudden, this situation happens. Their life is gone. So I can sort of see where they felt the need to come in and say, you know what, man, we need to speak on this because we still protecting a life. So that's just, man, I done been so back and forth on that Roe versus Wade, and I never could understand why it keeps coming up. I'm like, man, they still going back and forth to court about this mess. This is old news, and now I see why.
Yeah.
Because there are so many different angles that you can take to the point where you actually can take the right from the woman. If you just put enough argument and debate into it, you know, like I said, what if a woman just decide to terminate a baby because she mad at the dad?
Let's go to Sherelle. Sherelle, what do you say to that?
That's very true. I mean, that is very true. You have spiteful people in the world like that. So I mean, that goes back to say to each his own. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to that situation, I'm still pro-choice. If that's your choice, you have to live with that, not me. You know what I'm saying? But there are people that are like that in the world, and it makes you hate abortion. You know what I'm saying? It makes you hate that. But
at the end of the day, even though, you know, she got mad and she didn't do it for the right reasons, it wasn't a health issue or anything like that. She did it because strictly because of the fact she got mad at him. Maybe he stepped out on her and she found out that he was with somebody else, and she want to have an abortion. Is that still her right though? Is that still her right, you know, to make that decision?
Absolutely, and that's something she has to deal with. That is still her right. That is still her body. That is still her life. She has to deal with that, and she has to deal with the consequences that come behind that. So at the end of the day, that's her. That's her. That has nothing to do with me. To each their own. You know what I'm saying? Do I feel like that's the right thing to do? No, that's really spiteful, but you got to look at it from all perspectives, and that's still her. At the end of the day, it still boils down to that's still her right.
Yeah,
that's her body. That's her. So,
but see, but
I can't change it if she does.
That's going to change the whole dynamics of everything in their relationship, though. And I don't know if the relationship is going to be able to maintain after that, after she do something like that.
Well, then, the relationship just gonna have to not maintain. But at the end of the day, that's her body. She has to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? She has to deal with everything that comes with it, whether the relationship maintains or not, whether he sent his sisters to fight her. She has to deal with that. If something's gonna come from it. Now, if you're being spiteful, it's gonna always come back on you in some form or fashion.
But
you know what I'm saying? But
the thing about it, Sherelle, and I'm sorry to cut you off, but the thing about it is this right here, and I think what Rico is saying, and I feel him on this. You know, that's my child too, though. That's you know, yeah, you carried it, but that's my child too, though. And you're killing a part of me too. You're not just killing you, a part of this you. You also go ahead.
That is true. That is absolutely true. But once she does that, can he go back and get that baby? You see what I'm saying? Can he go back and get that baby? Like I said, she has to deal with the consequences that come behind that, whether it be they part ways, whether it be they do whatever. So if she chooses to do that behind his back, and she pops up and tell him that out of spite to hurt his feelings or hurt whatever the situation or whatever, she has to deal with that. After that's done, you can't go back and change it. That will make you hate. That will absolutely make you hate abortion. At the end of the day, it's still pro-choice. She made a choice to do that. You know what I'm saying? So that was her choice. Now was that right? Absolutely not.
Can I bring a comment to that? This is not my belief, but I just know that this is an argument that will be made. Okay, that is her body, and she has the choice to do it, and if she does it, she can kill or take that life. That's I mean, that's really what it literally boils down to, the end of the life, right?
Yes.
Or potential life. Well, a life, because it's a life. Okay, so she had that choice to legally do that and get away with it, because that's her body. So now, as an adult that might get bullied, or the adult that was a child that may have been abused, whether it was sexually or physically, do I have the right to go back and take a life because somebody violated my body and it was my right to do that? See, there's consequences behind me taking that life. You know, and then I hate to equate it like that, but at the same time, they will equate it like that. That is a life. You saying that this woman has the right to end a life just because she wants to, and she'll just deal with it. And so what's the repercussions? Are we going to make that legal or illegal? Because the average human can use that justification.
How can you make somebody's choice illegal? You see what I'm saying? That's a choice. Every day we wake up, we have a choice to go outside. You're going to tell me I can't go outside? We have a choice to go to work. You're going to tell me if it is a choice to end life. At the end of the day, like I said, that was her choice to do that. She has to do with the consequences behind it. Does it make it right? No. You know what I'm saying? She went behind his back. So therefore, whatever consequences come behind that, whether it's her death, whether it's her getting her behind beat, whether it's the end of the relationship, she has to do that. Is her life. She has to deal with that. Every action comes with something. It has a consequence to everything. She has to deal with that. Does it make it right what she did? No, absolutely not. But it's coming. You know what I'm saying? So like, just like me, if I get pregnant and he wants the baby, and then I do that, I already know it's coming on me. I don't know how, but it's coming. You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, you got to live with the fact that, oh my gosh, I murdered my own child because I was angry. It's coming. She's gonna deal with it. She's gonna deal with it. So at the end of the day, like, I can't say we can make that illegal because she did that, because not everybody wakes up and just does that because of situations like that. You know what I'm saying? Somebody might be raped.
I'm gonna say something that I know is not gonna be very popular, and I'm gonna preface it by saying, if you know me, you know I don't condone any type of domestic violence at all, any kind at all. I don't condone that. I'm not talking toward that. But what if we have an individual? And Donald, I want to ask you this question too, because I'll mute your phone there, Donald. If she go out and because of the fact that she's angry and she has an abortion, and then he come back and he got his old street mentality, he said life for life, and he do something to her in her life, he's going to jail for the rest of his life for murder. But she killed a baby, and with no repercussions at all. A life, you know. I mean, I know this is far-fetched. I know this is way out there. But Donna, what do you say to that?
It probably has happened before.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know why people go off on each other, and people that say they love each other, they just all of a sudden he go there and burn the house down.
Yeah.
You never know what it's all about because nobody's there to answer why. Somebody's just upset.
And in court, he said, "Well, she killed my baby." They're not gonna let him off. They're not gonna let him off.
No, they're not gonna let him off. And they're trying to fix it so they won't let her off either. I guess.
Yeah.
Which is, and I've been listening off and on to the conversation. And Rico did a show months ago, I think. And it's just me out of my wild thinking, okay? But you got contraceptives, and then you got what Rico's show was masturbation, and then we have the saying, and I'm gonna try to be as kind as I possibly can. Is say, well, just back out.
Yeah.
Okay. So, in all of them situations, you're wasting a life, a potential life.
Yeah.
And all of that is okay. There's no law against none of that. Matter of fact, they tell, especially men or even women that have teenage children, they'll bring their child to the health department or whatever you call it, the clinic, and say they give away free condoms. So that you can't have that baby.
Yeah.
They don't want that baby. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So is that a form of abortion? I don't know. I'm just saying. It's too bright, but it's just the same thing.
Exactly. Minister Neil, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me. Ricky, you there?
Actually, I'm here. I'm sorry about that. I'm actually just listening to the different perspective about abortion, but we have to also keep in mind that what the Bible declares to us, and there's several scriptures that tells you that you was formed in your mother's womb. In Isaiah 44 and 139 of the Psalms, Jeremiah 1 and 5. I can go on and on and on. And the thing I'm saying to you is that when we speak about these things, God, I understand that, again, it's pro-choice, and I get the different scenarios. But I think that we also have to understand that when you start using abortion as a weapon on both sides, it becomes decaying. And think about what the Roe versus Wade is talking about. It's been weaponized, not to help the situation, to weaponize the situation. And just like I've been hearing different scenarios about if a woman is upset and things of that nature, I mean that's kind of to the point that we have to step back and look and analyze and examine ourselves, because sometimes people have abortions from infidelity situations and things of that nature as well. So we have to step back and kind of really think about the moral values that we have in ourselves. We don't forget the kids. We got to stop with ourselves, look at ourselves and understand that right now, this is what we're talking about, the things that we're saying. This shouldn't even be. We should be able to come into a situation knowing that we're able to have a healthy child. Because for myself, like I said, I've been losing my son. I'm very leery of abortion in so many ways. Yeah. So when I sit back and I hear people say, "Well, it's their right," yeah, you're right. It is their right. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's not your right. I won't even argue with you because I don't know your situation. But I'm just telling you that you got to understand something. You got to sit at feet of judgment, and you got to make account for that. If you okay with making account for that, then God bless you. That's it. I mean, we don't have to go through different scenarios. If you take this life, I take that life. The thing about it, you got to understand what it is you're going against, and you're going against God's order. Period. And we have to stop that. We have to stop and sit back and really think about what we are doing and what we're saying, because sometimes we have a tendency. I'm gonna give you this scenario. We can go to a club. I'm gonna tell you why I said it. I was looking at something with Kirk Franklin, and that's why you notice I don't play his music too much on my radio program anymore. Yeah. He said something that was very interesting. He said he was on The View, and I was looking at it on they were talking about Trump, and he was talking about the churches and things of that nature. And he says, well, one reason why we can get the kids back into the church is that we got too many rules. And I thought about that for a minute. I said, what you mean you got too many rules? I said, when you go to a club, they tell you this is how you're supposed to act in the club or not. They're going to escort you out, correct? So but you telling me the church got so many rules. So it's the same thing with following God. Sometimes we feel like God got too many rules, but you want his blessings. In other words, you want the book, but you don't want the Bible. Sometimes we got to step back and understand that, hey, I understand certain situations, and like I say, certain situations, I truly understand for health reasons. I mean, it's like what that lady who was in a coma for 8 years. They found out she was giving birth in Arizona. So I can understand why sometimes you be like, oh, well, we should have terminated this pregnancy. She can't. I mean, because then you got to look at the welfare of the child. I understand all of this. So I'm not going to sit here and say that it shouldn't be in its place. But I think that we need to step back for a minute and really think about this. Really truly think about when you got to sit in front of God. That's what I think about. Think about that from that perspective. When you got to sit in front of Him, think about it.
That's good. That's good. That's good. Leonard, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
What you want to know?
Hey, this is way out Wednesday, brother. Come with it.
Oh, I stepped out for a minute, but I came back in, and you all were talking about abortion and what have you.
Yes.
And that issue, I don't care. It's a woman's right. I don't care. I'm sick of men. I'm so sick of irresponsible men It's ridiculous. And to have women make themselves subservient to men in this issue is ridiculous. There is no situation whatsoever of barring marriage that a woman should even have to consult a man about this issue.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
See, that's where you and I differ a little bit on that, because and the reason why I say we differ, because it's just like I said earlier, man. If two adults, consenting adults, come together, and you would hope that they were married, but in the real world, sometimes they're not married. They come together and they create a child, consenting adults. Then just like it's your child, is mine too. And for you to go out there and to kill that child without even consulting with me at all, we consulted, we talked, everything was good when we got together, when we did this, when we created this child, everything was good. And now you say you want to go out there and you just want to kill the child without even consulting me.
So y'all consented to have a child, or did you consent to have sex?
Yes, yeah. Well, we consent to do the whole package. Maybe even let's just, for the sake of this conversation, let's just say that we talked about, having a baby. We had a conversation about having a child. And then somewhere along the course, you decide that, well, I don't want to mess up my body. I don't want to do it now. I changed my mind. Well, we had this conversation and we said we was going to have a child. Now, if
why don't you just leave that woman?
Say it again.
Why don't you just go find another woman?
No. I can do that. I can very well do that. Go find another woman, but that's still a child.
You want to enslave that one.
Listen, no. You're not listening to what I'm saying. My thing is just right here. I could very well go find another lady, but that still don't change the fact that that lady that I was dealing with at that particular time, that we had the conversation with, that we agreed to have a child, is carrying my child, and that she's talking about killing. Go out and get with another young lady. We could do whatever we want to do, blah, blah, blah. But that still don't change the fact.
Did you love her enough to marry? Did you love her enough? Did you love her enough to marry her before you slept with her?
All this splitting hairs.
I know, and that's how Christians are, and that's why we have this Roe versus Wade situation.
What I'm talking about is that child that's in your stomach. That
you don't even know if it's yours.
Well, and for the sake of, we'll find out that later on. But right now, that child, in my mind, in my heart, that's my child, and I'm not gonna stand here and let you kill my child.
It don't matter what you feel and how you believe. There's a test to prove whether or not it's your child or not.
Okay, all that's after the fact. But my thing is,
right now, all of it is a fact that must be considered.
What I'm dealing with is the idea of you killing something.
I know you all have great ideas. Mm-hmm. Y'all have such great ideas, and that's why all these great ideas have led to all these unwed mothers and all these poverty-stricken situations.
Mm-hmm. See, you
that's
putting
fact. That's fact.
See, you putting a whole different
fact.
Ball of clay. That's a whole different ball of clay. That let me see. I gotta head out. Okay. Sherelle says she gotta go. Sherelle, I definitely appreciate you coming on, sister. I definitely appreciate you. Rico, what's on your heart, brother? Because the way I feel about it, me and Leonard differ on this a whole lot, because that's my child, and I can't stand the idea of you killing my child. But go ahead, Rico. What's on your heart, bro?
And see, that's the reason why I say I've been back and forth on it, because after I listen to the arguments, I understand some of the arguments. Some of them are just using these arguments to get their way, but they still are legitimate points. Mm-hmm. This is the same fetus that they tell you to read to, because that baby in that belly, in that womb, can hear you. Mm-hmm. They can feel your emotion. They tell you not to be stressed, not to go through any kind of turmoil. They want you to have a happy pregnancy. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, think about the women that lose pregnancies by miscarriage. Mm-hmm. Some of them are devastated for years. They still mark the anniversary of when they lost this baby. Mm-hmm. But the baby was not born. Mm-hmm. Probably still born, but that was their first baby. I lost my first baby. You only see 3, but I really had 4. Mm-hmm. And they always gonna remember that life. So that man is going through that same thing, that's assuming that, So like I said, I'm back and forth on it. Like I said, I think it should be on an individual basis. You shouldn't just give anybody the access to just have that right to go get rid of a baby when they get ready. Mm-hmm. Because you have some women that use babies, children, and fetuses as pawns. Mm. And that's unfair to the father and that baby that's in the womb, listening to mama sing, play piano, read, or smoke, or do whatever else she's doing. Mm-hmm.
And it just shocks me that everybody wants to become so respectable and pious after you don't fornicated and done what you've done.
Mm-hmm. See, again, I understand what you're saying, brother. And
men who really men, you know, and this is my I'm pro women on this. I'm never changing. It's never gonna happen. I never was on the man side of this issue of coin. Because if there was something about me internal to me, I wouldn't want you making that decision. Just because you a Christian and believe the way you believe, that's your business. You govern yourselves accordingly. But don't sit here and act like you love the Lord so much in this woman, and soon she don't look the way you look no more. Now you got not, because you got to remember, there's another argument that men shouldn't have to pay child support either. Okay, you know how that go. So a woman is left carrying the bag regardless. So she is the one ultimately responsible for that decision. Now, one, if you're so concerned about your child, put that money up to take care of that child. If you so love this child. If you where
was it stated, or where was it stated, Leonard, that the man's not going to take care of the child? Though?
Like I said, I mean, you find if these men are doing this, more power to them. These women, I can tell you one thing: a woman who's secure in a relationship with a man don't mind having no baby for you. You can spit babies out like little puppies. Y'all mate like dogs. And then you want to sit around and act like you were so moral when you don't even know who the baby for. You got 3 or 4 babies. You don't told 3 or 4 women the same lie. You don't told 3 or 4 women the same lie. And you don't take care of none of the kids, and then you put the burden on the state.
But see, my thing to that is this right here, Leonard. Not all men are trifling, or not all men are in that situation.
Well, and those men don't have these situations.
No, that's not true.
No, they don't. Because I can honestly tell you, men who want to take care of their children do that.
No, Leonard. A man could get with a woman, and he could actually get with the wrong woman.
And now it's the wrong woman.
And see, my thing is this right here.
Because you determined she was the wrong woman.
No, I'm basing on what you said, but my thing is this right here.
She was the right one to sleep with and impregnate.
Leonard, my thing, and that's not, and that didn't change. That didn't change. But I said she the wrong woman because of the fact that she could change her mind and want to have an abortion. Nothing against him. He could be a great guy.
She needs to take care of herself because no one else is.
He could be a great guy. See, now we can be real selfish on this thing. That he could be a great guy. He could be a very good guy and want to do all the right things, but because of the fact, for whatever reason, maybe she just don't want to mess up her body. And she don't want to have the baby for that reason.
You didn't have to get pregnant then, did you?
Well, she made this choice to do. That's her making that choice to get pregnant.
And that woman usually will have that child if that's what she wants to do.
Leonard, why are there so many abortions?
Because they change their minds.
Exactly. That's my
point. Why would you have a man for a child who don't care nothing about you?
See, again, what you're trying to do right now.
It sounds like I remember when men used to do that to hold women down.
Leonard, my thing is this right here. What you're trying to do is you're doing the reverse, and that's good for conversations, good for radio. It's real good for radio. But what you're trying to do, you're trying to paint the guy as being a bad guy.
I'm not saying he's a bad guy. I'm saying he's irresponsible.
Leonard, he didn't make the baby by himself.
He didn't. He didn't. And why y'all, if y'all so love these babies, why y'all be arguing about paying for them?
I ain't never tell me, Leonard, if you could ever tell me in the situation in history where a man made a baby by himself, I would applaud you, brother. And I'll send you a check. I'll cash you right now where a man made a baby by himself.
Hey, look, trust me. It's not even that deep. The issue is that women understand the situation that they're in. So women should be the one making that decision.
I've never seen a man make a baby by himself. I've never seen
even when you have to bring that up, it's ridiculous.
It's not ridiculous
because we all know how babies are made.
What you're trying to do right now is paint the guy as a bad guy, and I'm not.
You don't have to be a bad guy.
That's the picture you're painting of him as being a bad guy.
What makes him bad?
Because of what you said.
I mean,
you said that.
That's not. I mean, is that really a bad thing?
From what you're saying, from the way I'm receiving,
I know some people
the way I'm receiving what you're saying. Cool. The way I'm receiving what you're saying, Leonard. Yes, you're making him out to be the bad guy.
I'm just saying he's irresponsibly reproducing.
So how can he reproduce by himself? You're responsible too, then.
Well, when I say that, it is because one, I can't understand why a woman would want to subject herself to single parenthood.
See, now you're just assuming that the man's not going to be there. Again,
I'm just saying, I don't care if he's there or not.
Why does it have to be single parenthood? Why can't they raise that child together?
Well, let's just pretend we don't have this problem that we have today. Let's just pretend we don't have ADC. Well, it is not called ADC anymore. Let's just pretend we don't have to support families anymore. Let's just get rid of this entire program. That program was created simply because of these unethical individuals out here reproducing.
Okay, but that's
what they're using this program for. It used to be when a man was killed or what have you, so the woman would have some assistance. But we know back then she wasn't allowed all the opportunities and work for gainful employment. So if this woman was to get pregnant and for some reason her husband may have died, or the father may have died in combat or in the military or what have you, then because he died doing something of that nature, the American government should take care of those children. Because that man was off in war, fighting for his country. Okay? What the system wasn't set up for is for you just to go around here getting anybody pregnant that you wanted to, and everybody else take care of it. That's not what that system was created for.
Okay.
That system wasn't created for women who don't have responsible men to take care of them. That's not what that system was created for.
What was it created for?
That's what it's being used for. Now, you can justify it all you want, and men can come up with all these stories.
Listen to me when I say this. I'm not trying to justify anything. I'm not going to sit here and allow one side to take all the responsibility and one side walk away smelling like a rose. I'm not gonna
like I said. I would love some women to call in and talk about that, because them men, I don't hear men standing up when it's down there in that courtroom.
Again, I'm not gonna allow the men to be.
I know a lot of names get called. Folks don't even show up.
My thing is right. I'm not gonna say it, and hear me when I say this too. I'm not gonna say that what you're saying does not happen, because it does.
We got housing set aside that good single guys can't get.
I'm also not going to allow you to say that there's not some great men out there that just wasn't given the opportunity to do it.
That's the thing. Everybody want to talk about the great. You don't come up with something because things are great. You don't come up with a program because things are so great.
Hold on. Let me pull somebody else into the conversation. My thing is, I deal with both sides of the coin. I'm not going to just deal with the one side and say it's like this. I'm going to deal with both sides of the coin. Donald Toussaint, what's on your heart? Wake up.
You ever saw two people having a heated conversation, and a fella came by and threw the knife in the middle of them?
No, I don't think I want to see that one, Don. I don't want to see that one, brother. I might want to let that one pass.
Look, that's the only. You know what the mindset is?
What's that?
I know how to set. I can fix this argument right here. Let me just throw a knife.
Lord,
first one gets cut, lost.
What do you?
If you can get to the,
go ahead.
If you can get to the knife first, you're the winner.
But it could be easily summed up. This is how a woman got made a bitch in the first place. That's just to put your foot on her neck. That's why you call her that. That's why you call her that.
But here's what I think.
Let
me just voice my little bit. Nobody fits in nobody's frame of mind or thought. We have put that the world is full of different people. Have different lifestyles. They think different. They act different. Some good, some bad. But this life, getting to where we're going, have so many different roads. You know how many different roads that I can take to get from New York to California? But I can still get there. But I don't have to travel the way you travel. And so we're talking about this abortion thing,
Mm-hmm.
and there's some women that they get a diagnosis in the womb,
Mm-hmm.
and based on the reason or the results of the diagnosis, they make a choice.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they may simply say, well, you know what? I've married well, I'm not married or whatever, married, maybe perhaps even married or dating, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
A nut. And he's a fool or a crazy man,
Mm-hmm.
a mass murderer. And I'm carrying in my womb somebody just like him.
Mm.
I don't know. I mean, different choices that people make. Because, and I'm going to tell you something else. We got all these church folks and priests and nuns that then buried children in the backyard of the monastery.
Come on, you better tell them.
Nobody know nothing about it.
Mm-hmm.
But they out here talking about something else.
Until they dig them up.
Mm-hmm.
They dig them up. And see, we got laws in this country that make something illegal that one person does, and somebody in their family that because they are the judge, have done the same thing,
Mm-hmm.
and there's no penalty for it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
If you chase the reasoning behind it, there's a dollar sign.
Mm. Wow. Wow. It does happen. It does happen.
Anybody care about the child?
Mm-hmm.
They don't care about the child because they're shooting children and killing children every day.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But that dollar, that'll get it done.
Mm. It's a sad reality if that's the case, brother. Minister Neil, what's on your heart?
I'm just listening.
Mm-hmm.
It's different viewpoints about abortion.
Mm-hmm.
And my brother said that a lot of sorry men out here. So I can honestly say this: it's something that I try not to get involved in when it comes to defending black men.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I learned is that we have to understand that we don't know the situations that a lot of men and women are in. And I've always approached the situation as neutral as possible. I'm not going to ever say the man is a bad person. I'm not going to say the woman's a bad person. Because I got when y'all was going back and forth, I was thinking about, I have a dear sister that went to family. And she called, and she was saying that she was 7 weeks pregnant. And now that she's having some real difficult issues with the pregnancy, they want her to be terminated.
Mm.
And for medical reasons, not for her, but for the baby.
Mm-hmm.
And some genetic issue that was going on. And she made a decision without her husband. And I remember I was on the phone with him, and I was talking to him about it. And I asked him, I said, I'm going to ask you a question. And when Leonard made the comment, some of these men out here sorry that their brother is standing by, and he's not only he's defending her decision, but he's also standing by her decision. She made that decision without him because at the time she understood the ramifications of the impact on her body as well. So we have to step back for a minute before we start calling people names and accusing people of things. Sometimes step back and look at the situation and really understand that this is something that had to be done. I'm not saying that all men are bad. I'm not going to say all women are bad. I got some dear brothers who had children out of wedlock, and they some super dads.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some super dads.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't say that, and I'm not going to say that. I can call 10 of them right now, and they can tell you, man, I love my young, I love my children. So I'm not going to put that stigma on them like that. But I understand what he's saying because it's a frustrating system, because he's looking at the black system, how she has to fend for the whole entire family. But at the same token, we understand something. Everybody ain't the same. Just like they say all black men are sorry, that's a lie. We're not all sorry. We know all this, we know all that. Just like they can say all black women are hookers and prostitutes and things of that nature. That's not the case. So we need to refrain from that and just sit back and say, hey, you come by situations that has warranted that you have that attitude with them. But like I said, I got 10 of my call right now. Matter of fact, you met 2 of them, and they can tell you if that was said to them, it'd be an issue. So they defend their kids, defend them to the utmost. So I'm not going to sit here and say that. That's one of the things that society has put on black men is that we're not nurturing as men and as fathers. That's not the case. We have to stop saying that. We have to stop it. You might not agree with me, but we got to stop it. We cannot perpetrate this against these brothers. They don't know. They don't. If you say that's not your that's not your job, I'm fine with that. Don't worry about it. It's my job. Because one thing I learned is this here. I tell all of the brothers, you do not want to live what I've lived for the last almost 7 years of not having my son. Period. So I would never put that on nobody. Never. And I think that's alarming to have something like that said. That's alarming to me. It's alarming. I can't do it. I can't.
Good deal.
I mean, open the door, man. I'm outside. Open the door.
Okay, good deal. Ricky, I'm sorry. Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
Before I go in, before I make a comment, I got to put a disclaimer out there. I got to clear up some truth. I know I done heard some wrong information on here before. I normally don't correct it, but I got to correct this one. The other day, Curtis said that gas in Alabama was sundown time. That's in the county next. There ain't no sundown time. They'll go crazy if they find out somebody think that about them. Gas is something serious. It ain't no sundown time. And then Donna said a second ago, I did a masturbation show. Now I think that was Curtis did that.
Yeah, that was Curtis.
I'm all about self-help. But Rico ain't did no turkey, no chicken, so I gotta get that. I gotta make sure everybody know that wasn't me did that. I ain't did no something like that. You know, nothing wrong with it, but I didn't do that. So I gotta just clear that, get that correct information out there. With this abortion thing, that was a good back and forth you and Leonard had, and I think that that debate has been going on for decades. And even with that debate being as good as it was, it still didn't apply to Roe versus Wade, because in the scenario that I put out there about a woman being mad at the man, the only reason the man would be interjected is because he was the reason she made that decision from her emotions. But he still really doesn't have a say in it. But I believe we have to remember, just like with these politicians, just like with attorneys, they represent somebody. They represent victims or citizens that don't have a voice, so they have to be the voice for them. And Roe versus Wade, we got to remember the voice is for that fetus that is supposed to be taken in this reading that they're hearing in the womb. That intelligence in the womb. It ain't for the man. It ain't about if the man. It ain't about if the man a good dude or a bad dude. It ain't about if the woman was a cheater, got pregnant by somebody else or nothing. It's about that fetus. It's about that fetus that's in that belly that scientists say can hear you and understand and comprehend, not having the voice to say, hey, I want to see what's going on out there. Don't kill me. So that's what a real argument is. And I think that's what we get off sometimes and not realizing really and truly the whole purpose of the fight sometimes. We got to understand the real true purpose. It ain't on behalf of men the least of this. It's that fetus. That's the controversy. Is that fetus intelligent enough to deserve a right to life? Or is it being tortured and going through the same thing somebody would go through in an electric chair, a lethal injection, being murdered before it even have a chance to live on the outside of that womb? So that's the whole different thought process. So that's why I say in the beginning, I always felt like it was a woman's right, but now I think it depends on the individual situation. Because sometimes there have been cases of babies taken away from her just because of the misconduct of adults or just because of the selfish emotion.
Okay.
You know, some people have hit themselves in the belly because they were mad at their baby daddy, punched themselves in the belly, lost their baby, and now they regret it because they just acted on emotion. People act on emotions all the time. So we got to hold that in account as human beings, that we can't risk the life of this intelligent fetus in this woman's womb to be taken because she went through an emotional moment.
And see, one of the things that I don't want people to miss, in the course of this conversation, and this is a very powerful conversation. Everybody is coming from their own place of love. We like I said, the exchange that Leonard and I had, I'm coming from a love from I guess everybody, but I'm talking on the behalf of the man. Leonard is coming from a place of love for the females because No,
I'm going to correct that. No, it's not a place of love at all. That's nothing to do with love at all.
Well, let me say it like this. My place is coming from a place of love.
Right.
My place is coming from a place of love. I don't know where Leonard said he is coming from somewhere different. So Leonard, you can explain to us where you're coming from.
This is about legal rights. This is about legal rights, not how you feel. This is about what will be codified in law that will be used to oppress a certain community of citizens in the United States. That is what it is about. It's about this overreaching, broad law that would take the right away from a woman to choose in any situation, where it would be in her best interest to terminate her pregnancy. That is what it is about. It is not about somebody's religion or this. It's about a woman can be religious and make that choice on her own, because that woman has a religion and a love as well, and she should be allowed to impose that on the choice that she makes for herself. That's what it's about. It's not about how somebody feels. It's about what will be codified in law and used to oppress citizens in the United States.
And so you're saying if you take away, or if you want to be a man and step in and say, well, look here, I have a responsibility in this child's life as well. We made this baby together. We can raise this baby together, and I don't think that you should kill this child. That's
a conversation you all should have.
Okay, but my thing is, so we're oppressing her by saying, are you saying that?
No, I'm just saying a woman who wants to choose to keep her, this doesn't affect her right to choose to keep her pregnancy.
Okay.
You can still keep your pregnancy if you want to.
Okay.
This oppresses women who choose not to. This actually provides for people to be put in prison for murder. And in some states, it may be used as a form of imposing the death penalty on someone.
Yeah. If this person that they're putting or trying to put in Supreme Court right now, if they get in and they pass it, they're going to be the deciding vote to whether or not a woman does have that right. I see where you're coming from. Well, she does have the right to do it or not.
Because I believe in the right to choose regardless. I believe you have a right to choose whether you want to go to heaven or hell or not. Not imposed on you by the state.
Okay. I understand what you're saying, but my thing is, and my whole point is, and I stand on this right here, just like I said earlier, we should have that conversation. And at the end of the day, we all know if this woman want to have an abortion, she can have an abortion regardless of what I say. She's gonna have an abortion if that's what she want to do. But my thing is, as a man, I'm standing on the fact that, listen, we hold on before you go, before you make that decision, let's talk about this thing. I want you to understand too that I have that's my child too. That you're talking about killing, now it's your decision. You have to carry the baby. You got to carry the baby for 9 months. All that, I understand that, but please understand me when I tell you, that's my child too.
Right, and you know what I think should happen in that situation? If for some reason y'all can't agree, and you're talking about how much you love the child and want to do this, and you want to take care, let's go on down here and do this paperwork. So when this child is born, you can do everything you just said you wanted to do.
I have no problem. Me, I would have no problem with that.
Right.
Let's go. Let's go.
Exactly. You can do that. You can do that now.
I hold the door for you. Come on, let's go. Let's go.
You can do that now.
But don't kill my child. That's
you
my
can
child.
do that now.
Mm-hmm.
You can do that now. There's so many things that you could do now that you're not doing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, when you say you, are you talking about me personally or
what men are not doing?
Okay.
There's just so many things. You can do everything you want for the child now. You can. I'm pretty sure that if a woman, you came to a woman and just told her how much you just wanted this baby and you wanted to do this, that, or the other, oh, she would be more than happy to do that for you. You know why? Because they're doing it with so little, so less now. So I know they would. Because now you ain't got to tell them nothing. You can hate their guts and they have it now. So it's about the choices that people make. And you should have the ability to choose that without the state being involved. It's a shame that Negroes got to have the state in between their legs.
Hold on. Hold right there for a second. Minister Neal, what's on your heart, brother?
I mean, I totally agree because I think that we have to understand is that you got to want to be a father. You got to want to.
Yes.
You have to want to be a father. Period.
Yeah.
If you don't want to be a father, don't do that. I understand where he's coming from.
Yeah.
And that's a responsibility. But at the same token, we got to understand something. Life happens. Now that life has happened, let's move forward. And what's moving forward is that I totally agree that she has a choice.
Yes.
That's her choice. And do I condone it? No. But do I understand? Yes. And sometimes you're in bad situations where financially that baby can be not such of a burden, but can go through some hard times. You might feel like you don't want to put that child through those hard times. It's like, again, there's so many different scenarios that we have to take into perspective. But we also need to understand.
Come on.
I agree with both of you guys. To stand up is to stand up.
Yeah.
We can celebrate everything else, but we need to also celebrate, especially fathers. We need to celebrate and embrace our children.
Thank you.
And that's lacking in the Black community.
Yeah.
Let's call it for what it is.
And also, Minister Neal, let's not forget. At one point in time, guess what they used to do? They used to force a woman to get pregnant.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just to birth slaves for a slave master.
Right.
What's the difference?
No, it's no different at all. Because at the end of the day, like you said, once the government, and it has government design, it's designed for the Black male not to be around anyway.
Yeah.
There's so many different stipulations that have to be occurred. And I always tell people, I says, child support is like putting you on parole.
Yeah, it is.
You go back to jail at any time.
Come on, man. It shouldn't. Exactly. That's a shame.
And if you think about it, that's what it is. It's parole.
Yeah, it is.
For 18 years, you're on parole for 18 years. Because you are subject to go back to jail at any time.
Anytime.
And parole, that's what parole is. You design it. You can subject to go back. You violate, they step you back. That's what we used to call it in the hood. They step you back. And step you back meaning when you step back behind that green door,
they got
them
you.
Officers back, those marshals are back there with them chains waiting on you. And that's what happens. So we have to understand, we have to be, that's why gentlemen and men got to be more smarter, not so much about having these kids, but understand that you have to, once this woman comes to you and says she's pregnant, you got to start making preparations just like she got to make.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
It's a preparational job. It's got to be understand. When Robin came to me and told me she was pregnant, I immediately started preparing myself to be a father. I started calling my brothers. I started calling
Amen.
I started doing some references. I started saying about this. I started talking about everything that I needed to do to start preparing myself because this is my first one. But those are the things that we have to start doing. That's why I say these brothers out here, they don't have a game plan because nobody's not showing them. It was just naturally for me because I wanted to be a dad.
You wanted to be a dad.
Some people didn't want. See, some people like it's just a pride. Like, oh wow, you pregnant, and they keep forgetting that. Oh wow, you pregnant. I mean that you forget you was there having fun.
Exactly.
So now that you're having fun, now you gotta understand. Now it's to a point that you gotta be able to understand that now that fun has come to be responsibility. And that's where the breakdown is, and that's the reason why a lot of these brothers out here, they were out here with like their head with they run around here with their head like a chicken with a head cut off. You know how many times I hear the brothers tell me, "Well, she won't let me do it." I'm like, dude, you got rights.
Yeah, exactly.
I would go to jail for my youngin. I'm gonna tell you flat. Yep. Reason why I say that.
Yep.
I never forget. I had a partner, and he's real close to me. Close to me. I'm talking about real close to me.
Yeah.
And he ended up going to Jackson State, and on a basketball scholarship. And he and I was talking. He got this girl pregnant. KK from Jacksonville, and I can call her name because she don't. Y'all don't know who that is. Too many of y'all KKs. But anyway,
you mean KK?
She that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
She actually this has been about 6 or 7 years ago. His daughter was about 7, 8 years old, and that's when they first came out with twerking. Now we old school, and Leonard, you can think about we old school. We know twerking ain't nothing but booty shaking.
That's all.
That's all it is. They call all these cute names, but we know that ain't nothing but booty shaking, right? He walked in a birthday party and saw his daughter twerking, took his daughter out of her own birthday party. And do you know that girl had not been back in that home with her mother until after she graduated? Because he was being a father. And he told them, he said, I don't care nothing about no child support. I'll continue to pay you child support. But I'll be dog if my daughter sit up here in this type of environment.
That's a real father.
That's why I say you gotta want to be a father. It's a difference. It's a big difference. But a lot of brothers don't know they even have those kind of rights. Because they so busy telling, like you said, it's all about the courts with them. It's all about the court. Oh, well, they told me I can't do this. Who did they tell you that? Or that's what they told you. It's a difference. Because sometimes people tell you stuff to manipulate you.
Yes, sir.
And then instead of you actually doing your research, stop being lazy and go do your research. How many times you go and say, well, I went down to the court. That ain't what it said. It said such and such, such and such, such and such. Well, why can't I do such and such, such and such, such and such?
Exactly. Let me do. We got a caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, brother and sir, brother Pete Charles. Conversation as usual. How y'all doing, family?
Hey, doing good.
My brother Pete Brown.
Man, let's tell them what's going on, Pete. What's going on? What's on your heart, brother?
This is Free Your Mind Wednesday or something like that. on the abortion piece, my contribution to that conversation is, we have to go back to the standards. Sex is for married folks. If you want to engage in the behavior, you automatically signing up for the responsibility.
Come on.
You automatically. If you don't want to engage, if you don't want the responsibility, then don't engage in the behavior.
Period.
Don't go out here and say you're a gangster, and then when you run up on the gun shooting and they're taking lives, all of a sudden you're a coward. Wait a minute. You signed up to be a gangster.
Exactly. Come on.
Okay. So if you don't want the responsibility, then don't engage in the behavior. That's simple. And the shotgun concept. Look here, boy. You about to have some responsibilities now. You're gonna take y'all down to the chapel. You don't have to jump on over this broom. I'm gonna help you out and speak to the supervisor.
Come on, Pete. Come on, Pete.
Teach you how to work on some cars or do some carpentry. Life will change, son. You got to go get some a place now and start getting the supplies together. Come on, man.
Because that's my daughter.
Good deal.
Come on, there ain't no option.
Yeah.
Ain't no options. This is what you got to do. But what I want to contribute to the Free Your Mind is, please watch Social Dilemma. Should be on Netflix.
Awesome show.
Social Dilemma. Please watch Inequality for All. Please watch End of the Road, How Money Became Worthless.
Wow. That's good.
We need to really understand what's going on in the society in which we live. This country is operating through a corporate structure. You have to have a corporate structure. We want to get too deep into that, but it's a government side and a corporate side. The corporate side is really taking over the government side. America is now like the flea market for the world. So if we're not in business, if we're not manufacturing, if we're not producing, then we're just slaves. We're physical flesh and blood future robots. Okay, present robots, but what robots will be in the future to replace you. Okay, and that's where we are now in this society.
Now let me ask you this question. Let me ask you this question, man. What I have you here. What do you think about the Supreme Court justice they're trying to swear in right now, and her stance on the Roe versus Wade? Because they're saying that if she get in, she's automatically going to vote against it and give them the votes that they need, so the woman don't have the right to make their own decision. What do you say to that?
They're gonna go right back in the back alley and do what they want to do that they feel is necessary in the first place. See, again, you can't legislate morality.
Cannot do it.
That's impossible. That's impossible.
Right.
So
either.
what you can do is make provisions, okay, and have some negotiations with certain situations. I'm not trying to knock down the community, but I'm gonna bring up another one that's hot: the homosexual community. They have the right to get married, but two of the same kind cannot reproduce.
Amen.
But they allow them to adopt.
Amen. Come on.
So now you're allowing you're making a provision for what naturally is impossible.
Come on, unbalanced. Come on, doctor.
Okay. But this is where society has to get an understanding of their moral compass.
Come on.
And then things that make sense. Because if we're going to do the impossible, then I mean, how many of us were born billionaires and we haven't received our check yet?
Come on.
Wow, that's good. That's good. Leonard, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
I mean, it's all there. Like you say, you can't legislate morality. You must allow people a choice to choose. Because I'm pretty sure if you still Christian, it's your right to choose, right?
Amen.
You still Christian, you got the right to choose, right? So Christians can still choose how they want to live, right?
I can do whatever you want to do. You want to believe them, fine. If you don't have to. It don't take it. If some shit doubt the faith, does it make the faith untrue? No, the faith is still true. Stand in front of the train, and when it hits you, you're gonna find out truth.
Exactly.
Wow.
See, me and Pete kind of realists, you know. It is what it is. Some people, like Pastor Neil say, people got issues and situations. Who am I? Who am I to force my will upon you?
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen to that.
And so we must support and we must legislate in that fashion. Now, you don't have to do what the state allow everybody else to do. You can keep being a good, clean Christian like you always been and keep following the rules and concept. And when he come back, he just swoop you up with your holy self and you just go on to heaven.
With your what, Leonard?
With your holy self. And you go on to heaven and be with Jesus, just like you always have wanted to do.
You can still do that. Why are you talking about the HOLE?
I'm just saying. You know, he's so well, they got him out here. And I love Pastor Neil because Pastor Neil is very quiet and reserved. But when that brother say he loved being, he wanted to be a father, you believe that.
Yeah.
And every father like that, trust me, they got women to make babies for you all day long. And this is no problem. Y'all run around here acting like it take a miracle to have a baby. I can go out here and get 4 girls pregnant tonight. Well, not no more, because when I had the opportunity to use my choice, I chose to end the baby making. Okay. That's how responsible I am with my reproductivity.
Yes, sir.
I'm not going to choose to put my wife in a situation with a pregnancy that could kill her, but you would rather the law have a state that say my wife got to die.
The Roe versus Wade.
Watch that devil in the details.
And that's the thing. I mean, even for myself, you got to think of. I didn't have traits. I was 42.
Yeah.
Thank you. I was a little bit older.
That was my first one. And that's because even I'm not gonna lie. And anybody who knows me from my past, getting women was never my problem. But luckily that I was able to deal with being a certain kind of field that I saw diseases. I saw the impact of diseases.
Yeah.
So psychologically, and I ain't gonna say immorally, psychologically, it messed with my mind. I didn't want to look like or be like that.
Yeah.
That's right.
So what I did was I formed my lifestyle and say, hey, if we gonna do the razzle dazzle, these are the equipment. This is the equipment that I need.
Come on.
have some equipment. And that's what I did. That's what I did. Now, when it came, now everybody
shoulder
else,
pads and helmets and everything.
Yes, Lord. Everybody else they can do what they want to do. God bless you.
Shoulder pads and helmets.
God bless you. But I'm just telling you, just for me, that's why when I was able to, once I got married, I knew it was time to really consummate. And that's when Trey came about.
Yes,
so
sir.
it wasn't no what if she gonna do this or what if she gonna do that? If I'm gonna be able to see him. I didn't have those dilemmas. I didn't have to entertain none of that. I was, like I said, I got in that house and got prepared to take care of her and my son.
There you go. Good deal. Good deal. Pete, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
Individual and collective responsibility. That's all I'm hearing. And that's what's needed. That's what's needed. We had a young man last night, may have been in some street behavior. Unfortunately, he's made his transition. But did he understand that when he made the decision to involve himself in the street life? Did he understand that was an option, that your existence could be cut short?
Yeah, he knew.
Your individual and collective responsibility?
Yeah.
And that's what's needed more so today. We making excuses. It's the white man. That's the white man or no other man in the hood tearing up the neighborhood. Is you. Somebody looks just like you, and you allowing it.
But you know what?
We have individual and collective responsibility.
Let me say this. That's one reason why I don't really talk about the Black Lives Matter, because that slogan has been hijacked. Listen to me carefully. It's been hijacked. What he just said just made resonate. That's the reason why people ask me all the time, you in the community, why you don't ever talk about it? It's been hijacked. I'm gonna tell you why it's been hijacked.
Okay.
This is what he just said. They just buried somebody from the streets.
Yeah.
So I guarantee you, I can almost 100% tell you that somebody look like me and you killed him.
Yeah.
So again, when do Black lives really matter? Does it? I'm not saying it doesn't matter. But at the same token, we need to take that same energy and put it back into our community and pour it back into our community, and not just on CNN when we protesting. We need to say, hey, let's go back to our roots and let's do this, because you got to understand, during the 60s and the 70s, it wasn't a lot of that. When the drugs started infiltrating our neighborhoods, is when the violence picked up. So we got to stop doing certain things in order for us to get back what we need. In other words, get back to our foundation.
Let me ask you this. And with that being said, I understand what you're saying, but I'm gonna switch up just a little bit. What is the and we only got like 9 more minutes before we get out of here, but what is the overall most damaging effect that crack had on the Black community?
Babies. I could tell you because I sold it.
What do you say?
I can tell you because I sold it. It's the babies.
The baby. Ooh. Why do you say the babies?
I'll tell you something. I started when I was 11. I was lookout. At 11. I didn't know nothing. It was giving me $100 a week. And 11 years old, that's a lot of money. You're talking about that's 81. That's a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
That's like $1,000 to me back then. I can get anything I wanted. But as the scales started to get high for me, I started realizing, and I started seeing people that I grew up with who were older than me, that would come by the house and pick up certain things and do certain things. And in the course of them doing it, they didn't have money, so they had to exchange favors. A lot of times it was unprotected. So your body is already toxic. You see what I'm saying? And your body being toxic, you already have now put that toxic bloodstream
you spread
into. It's almost like coronavirus. You
spread it.
Just spreading it. And it's unknown because you don't know if that baby gonna come out like that. Or that we got to think in 86, I think it was, they said the elevation of crack addicted babies was so high that it was to a point that they have enough incubators in Los Angeles, California. I never forget, it was in Los Angeles, California. They said they have enough incubators to put those babies in, to the point they was putting them in it together. That's how small those children were. It was preemies.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So I've seen the effects of it. I've seen the effects of it from lives lost to jail time. I have partners call here.
Yeah.
They just come home.
Exactly.
And I've been shot. You home? Like I didn't say it out loud, but they knew we knew what you did. They know like you home? Like, oh really?
Exactly. Let me go to Leonard. Leonard, what do you say to that, man? And I caught Leonard in the middle of it. You ready to take a sip, man. I'm sorry about that, brother. But what is the most damaging effect of that crack cocaine had on the black community?
The damaging effect is that people chose to get involved. I was right there. That's why I'm not the most. I love y'all. Y'all guys' hearts are amazing. Y'all some amazing guys. You're just talking personally, you and Pastor Neil.
Yeah.
Y'all hearts are amazing. But I'm gonna honestly tell you, to each his own. What you choose is what you get. I sit right there. You smoke crack. I mean, I gotta smoke it. I want something better for my life. No, so I'm not finna sit up here and smoke crack. Well, brother, I'm gonna sell crack. Well, you do know what comes with selling that crack, right? Okay. You know what's out there for you, right? I read about it. They talk about it on the news, the crime bill, and they're gonna make it 9 if they're gonna, now, okay, 3 strikes you're out. If you ain't that good at it and got caught 3 times, you probably need to go to jail. I mean, I wasn't out here policing everybody.
Yeah.
Do what you do, I'm gonna do what I'm doing. But now, if you notice that you lost your good job and your family and everything else, now you around here stealing from everybody. You that's a problem.
Yeah.
That you chose.
It might not be good for you.
It might not be good for you, but see, that's the power of choice. That's why God gave you the ability to choose Him, because He want to make sure that's what you chose.
Choose each day. You're right.
Exactly.
So if you keep choosing to serve that life, A plus B equals C.
Jail. You go jail.
Exactly. Let me touch Pete real quick before we get out of here. We got about 4 minutes. Pete, what is the most damaging effect that crack cocaine had on the black community?
Degradation, demoralization, destruction, and ultimately death.
Exactly.
It brought about a wave of negativity, a cloud of negativity, a darkness, a selfish mentality. Back in the 70s, soul brother, soul sister, black power, power to the people. And then in the late 70s and the early 80s, I'm getting mad. I got to get mine. It don't matter about you. The old movie, I think it was, what was it, Brother Gonna Work It Out or whatever. He said, man, we got to shut down the drug dealers. We got to shut down the push. Man, I'm with you with this. I'm with you with that. But ain't nobody putting me out of my business. Come on. It brought about a mentality. We demoralized our women to a state of being animals. We developed a mentality of looking at each other as savages. We cared not about the negative effects on ourselves, our neighborhoods. We destroyed the concept of a community and set ourselves back as a people 100 years. Straight off of the crack issue, okay? We allowed ourselves to be demoralized and denigrated and positioned and pointed out to represent everything that was negative in this society. That's why Biden was able to come with the crime bill, because they're dangerous. They're beyond the pale. Come on.
I'm not telling you. I ain't gonna lie to you. Sometimes we were. But that's all. We were.
Sometimes, yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. What I saw, we were. I'm telling you.
Barbaric.
I mean,
well, see, that's what's happening. You're becoming just like them.
When money involved, all bets off, bro. When he said demoralizing,
you go back to the word, brother. Go back to the word, Pastor. The love of money, not itself, but the love of it.
Right. It ain't got nothing to do with it. I tell people all the time, the money don't have no power.
Yeah.
I tell people out there, you're not supposed to take that money. Why not?
The Bible say the foundations of the earth are all out of place. I constantly quote it. And it also says righteousness exalteth a nation.
Yeah.
But sin is a reproach.
Wow. Listen, it's 9:58. It's time for us to get out of here, man. This has been a great broadcast. Man, we should have started at the top of the show Leonard with this one right here, man. We should have kicked this one off from the top.
You the boss. You can make it happen.
Man, go ahead with that mess, man. Go ahead, y'all. Go ahead with that mess. Look, what's going on at 3:00 today, Leonard?
If you did not get a chance to hear this show in its entirety, log on to www.dkmmediagroup.com at 3:00 Eastern Standard Time and enjoy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Ms. Neal.
Yes, sir.
Can we have the privilege, brother?
Yes, sir. No problem. Let's seek the cross. Oh, blessed, gracious, and wonderful Father, we come to you at this time just to say thank you for another podcast. We're thanking you, Lord, for these dear brothers who have come on and set aside this time to talk about you and the goodness of you. Lord, we thank you that we're tackling topics that need to be tackled, Lord, that we're spreading the gospel of a good cheer, giving them a sense of direction, giving them a sense of get up and get out. We need to say, God, we thank you for all that you have done and what you continue to do. Lord, we ask you to bless this land, Father God, continue to strengthen us and to keep us. And Lord, when it's yours to call and for ours to answer, Lord, we pray that you lift up to your kingdom and you crown us. In the blessed sweet name of King Jesus, I do pray. Amen, amen, and amen.
Amen.
I'll see y'all in the morning. I'm out the rest of the week.
You come
Peace, brother. Enjoy.
Yeah. I ain't say all that. I ain't gonna say only folk people. I ain't gonna flip in a lot of y'all.
Tell him, Pastor Deal. Ain't no sense in lying.
I ain't gonna do that. I'm a grown man. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Look at.
I'm a little too grown for that. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Exactly.
I just ain't coming.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna make no folks. Remind folks to go out and keep voting, keep showing up, keep taking other people to vote. If they need rides, make sure that everybody eating. It is in your house eating.
Yes,
if they eligible, make sure they're out there voting, man.
Amen.
Exactly.
Amen.
Exactly. And it's very important, man. It's very important because, like I heard somebody say, if you don't vote, don't talk to me.
Don't talk.
I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear nothing.
I don't got like an old man now. If it ain't worth it, I don't need to hear it.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Hey, go to the little kids table.
Yeah.
Over here. Over there. You know how you used to do it? You go sit with them little kids and what grown folk talking. You go over there. You ain't voting. Grown folk over here talking. You going over there.
Hey, you know, hey, man, y'all something else. It's 10:01, man. So I'm gonna take about a minute, man. I'm gonna take another minute before we get out of here. Man, them Titans showed out last night, didn't they?
Man, you know, I caught the little clips. I didn't even know the game was on last night.
Yeah, man.
I saw it, but I was looking at CNN because I was looking at the turnout of.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So I was kind of like, I'm like really wrapped up in that, and I think that's one reason why 45 had to get out that house and try to.
Oh yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I'm telling you, bro. They said over 10 million people have early voted so far.
That's wow.
They can't say, but I'm saying he knows.
Yeah, what's going on?
Right. You know how Nebuchadnezzar had that hand came down there and say, "Come on now."
Lord,
you've been weighed and you have been measured. And you have been found wanted.
Yes, sir.
No, big money, no whammy. He got a whammy.
But y'all still go do it. Don't believe the new. Just still you get involved and you do it. Don't depend on everybody else. You do it.
Because I ain't gonna lie, man. When I saw that last night, I couldn't take my eyes off. I was like, wow.
Yeah, to get out.
And also shout out to the leaders of these organizations who have been touching folks that have never been touched before. I'm inundated text messages, social media, phone calls with people saying, get out and vote. I mean, people have called me to say, hey, we want you to come down and get involved in running for office. Pick a position. We'll help you run for that office if you want to. So it's great, man. It's great.
E. Dewey Smith. I'm gonna tell you why I said that.
Yes, I love it.
He ran 50 vans.
Really?
To ride to the poll.
Man, look at that. That's
powerful. I mean, like the buses, like you know, them little small miniature white buses we used to do.
Yeah.
Not the great big ones, not the big
yes,
yellow
sir.
ones. He got 50 of them that this church are now taking everybody who's in the cave.
Shout out to Travelers Rest, baby.
But those are things that's why I say I was captivated by that, man.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get off of it. By the time I realized that game was on, it was like like almost 10 o'clock.
Wow.
I mean, those kind of things, man. You know, they don't. That's why I said that's a
people are making
Pastor Dewey Smith. Pastor E. Dewey Smith is the real deal. It ain't no joke.
That joke get to preaching too, boy.
Oh yeah, he old school with it too now.
That joke get to preaching.
Man, I was stunned, but those are the things that I think that's when they said, "Where's the churches?" These are the new ways of the millennial ways to try to get to the churches.
And I would have expected nothing less from him. Shout out to him. I've spoken at his church on a couple of occasions, and as a guest pastor that you had on. Remember Pastor OG.
Man. I know exactly who you're talking about.
He had retired, yeah. But shout out to Travelers Rest because that brother E. Dewey Smith is the real deal. He allowed me to speak at his church in a way that I'm sure a lot of people have not spoken at there before and things like that. And man, the reception was great. But that brother is all about that community work.
Yeah, man. I was stunned when I saw that, but I was happy, but I was stunned. That's the second time I've seen him do something that floored me. The first time was when the pandemic first hit. He had all these kiosks out in the vestibule. And I went to 7 o'clock service. This is just before they shut everything down. He said, everyone who got an email from us, go out there and I hope you got your bill because we're gonna pay it right now. I cannot make this up.
What?
I cannot make this up. He did it for all 3 services. He said, everyone, in other words, he said, if I don't get to everybody in the community, at least I can get to all my members.
Wow. That's good.
And that's why I say powerful. That's when you know a shepherd smell like the sheep.
Yeah.
He got thousands of folk, but he knew enough to say, look, we're gonna pay their bill. And they paid, I think they were paying light bills, water bills. And I think this is some necessity because I think this is before the rent was due and they started getting to a lot of issues with that. But he paid all their necessity bills, such as like written bill. Right?
That's good.
I mean, then they got the food drive every Friday. That's why I said I follow him on IG and I see him all the time.
Doing all this.
Awesome, man. Awesome, bro.
And see, these are the things that people are trying to say that the church is not doing. Yes, there's some churches that's doing it. I know there's other church over there. Got a pastor, bishop named Pop. He doing some great things too. On what church it is. He got a church.
I think it's Hopewell Missionary Baptist Church.
Well, you know something about that church?
Yeah, I know a little bit about the Hopewell Missionary Baptist Church. Shout out to Bishop William L. Shields. That's that guy that has always trained and taught us about praising God anyhow. For what it don't matter what the world doing or what is wrong with you. Give that to God and go help somebody else and build some joy. Some joy. Just build joy that way, and the blessings will overtake you.
Yeah, absolutely. Blessing to a blessing. Amen to that.
Absolutely. And this is something I did, man, a couple of weeks ago. And we got to get out of here, man. Y'all, man, this is always 10:07. We got to get out of here. But a fella, and you know what it is, Charles McClutchin. I'll go ahead and put his name out there. We was on the Morning Glow, Black Friday one day, and he said, Raheem, what's your cash out, man? I said, I told him what it was. He said, watch your cash out. And we're still in the broadcast. He sent me some money, sent me $100. He said, man, I just wanted it was just told to give it to you. And so I said, okay. I looked at it, I thanked him on the air for it. And everybody that was on the Morning Glow that day, that Black Friday, I sent them $20. And I said, I want you to send $20 to somebody. And I want you to tell, when you send that $20 to somebody, make sure, no, let me back up. I sent them $20. I told them to send somebody $10. Of that $20, send them $10. And then the person you send the $10 to, tell them to send $5 to somebody. And we did it like that. And I said, just continue to pay it forward. And man, it wasn't a lot of money. It wasn't a lot.
Ain't got to be a lot.
But the idea of somebody just getting money just out the blue because somebody thinking about you, man, that was powerful, man. I want to do that again real soon. And because I love the idea. I love the idea of giving. I just love that idea, man. And just
I'm gonna give my cash out.
Huh?
I'm gonna give my cash out.
Give it to me. Give it to me. I got you.
I like $100.
Okay, well, $100. We can make $100 happen. Okay. Leonard, send $100.
Y'all, wow, man.
Listen, it is it's 10:08. We're about to get out of here. We want to thank everybody for joining us. More than that, I want to thank you for allowing DKM Media Group and Associates to be a part of your morning. It's 10:08, 10:09. You're about to exit the Morning Glow. But before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us because we're certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody, and give them a hug because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. And we shine some of this light on you from the Morning Glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in, and let your light so shine. You all have a great day. Go out there, find somebody, give them some love. You just might find some love in return. Y'all have a great day. Love ya.